future. Also, Ryan, you should have been a bubblehead.
There you go. No, I didn't have to go down on stuff.
Uh-oh, I waited too long to piss. It's already started.
Hello. So I'm supposed to be discussing stuff with Nerdette's Newsstand. And that will be starting shortly. I'm not 100% sure what to expect here. I don't know. My conversations with her have been very friendly. I know she has a past history of Dane. It's not history with me, but we will see. Kind of see what happens, because she said some weird things about the initiative, and hopefully we can clear the air, because before this she's been actually very friendly towards me, at least. So yeah, let's see what she says in the discussion. Let's see, that'll be starting up in about 2 minutes. But yeah, hey Dice, how you doing? Yeah. Oh, a new link? Okay. You know, I don't even have chat set up for the stream yet. I should probably do that. Hold on. I have to remember how OBS works. This is a lot. Hey, there you guys are. And, you know, I don't even think I have this set up. Ooh, multitasking. That's why I always do Dice, and it usually bites me in the butt, but I get stuff done-ish. I get lots of things half done, at least. Alright, let's see. I've actually never used... I've never used this streaming thing she's using here. So let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm in settings. Okay. Oh. Oh, are we on already?
There we go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing?
Oh, good. Okay, I have a bit of an intro to bring people in. I know
Okay.
you're live on your channel right now, so you can mute me and go ahead and do like your thing, talking to your audience. It'll be about 3 minutes and we'll be live.
Okay. All right. Cool deal.
All right. Thanks, Robert.
Well, that's very exciting. So about 3 minutes. Let me. Oh wait, here we go. Okay. I should be mute on her end. So, all right. So she'll play her intro like I just did. So. Yeah, I know. I hope this conversation goes well. We'll see what happens. But yes, I hope it goes very well. And then yeah, and after that, if this time, maybe I'll look over a couple requests. I don't know too much that's going on. I know Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has officially had right now it's projected to have the third lowest box office second weekend drop for the MCU ever. It's like a 48% drop or something like that last I heard. And we don't have the final numbers in because I know for the first weekend, the projected numbers this late into the weekend end up being about 5 million off, I believe. So yeah, we will see how well it does. Though it does sound like it does seem like it's going to underperform. Underperform's not quite the right statement. It's going to underperform Mario, which means I was wrong because I was pretty sure Guardians 3 would be more successful than Mario, and it's not on that path whatsoever. That being said, it's still on a path to be extremely profitable. So, and it's a great movie. If you guys haven't seen Guardians 3, check it out. Hey, Perp, how you doing? Yeah, I think 530? What are the numbers on Mario right now? Hold on. Numbers on Mario. Numbers on Guardians. All right. So it looks like it's at 528 right now, or at least projected. It's starting to pick up because it was actually performing lower than expectations, but it's starting to pick up. So we'll just have to see. It's getting really good word of mouth, which is to be expected because it was a really good movie. Oh yeah, I'm destroyed. Yep, it did outperform Mario though, so I'm destroyed. Let's see how that intro's going. Oh, she has a countdown. That's easy. Okay. So we got about 50 seconds. So this is the exciting part of live streaming, the waiting part. The tension is building. You can just feel it. Hey. So yeah, I just unmuted you on my end. But yes.
Oh, that's awesome. He has no audio.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. But
I'm sure it's just a glitch.
Oh, what? You're not getting audio? Oh, no.
We can try it this way too. There we go.
That was on me because I forgot I muted you, so I could muted it on here so I could talk to my audience. So that was actually on me.
Oh, okay. Let me switch back over to my other scene then. Let's see if this is it. Are we still good? You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. All right. We are good to go then. I just wanted to make sure that we had everything copacetic before we started here. So now, same question I asked in the beginning. What do you like to be called?
Oh, wow. This is so tricky. I don't know. I'm actually not picky. I guess Bob. There was a time period where I thought about just going by Chaos, but it never stuck. I'm Bob.
Okay. All right, we can do Bob. That works for me. Okay. And I wanted to have this.
I was just gonna ask what you want. What do you want to go by? Nerdette? Do you want to go by Tristan?
Oh, Tristan's fine.
Tristan. Okay.
Yeah. I people call me Nerdette and I feel weird. Like that's my name. Okay, so Tristan is good. Okay. But I've been wanting to have this discussion for some time because I saw you guys really kind of putting yourself out there. I don't disagree with the concept of what you're doing. I want to get that out there. What I disagree with is the idea that you are, and I've got a lot of things I want to run by you, but what you're doing is essentially the same side. It's the other side of the coin, right? You want to promote positive fandom, but I never see you guys reviewing or ever talking about anything but YouTubers. Like, I don't see these breakdown, like, heavy spoiler type reviews of Guardians of the Galaxy or She-Hulk. It's always about what other people have to say about the property. And that's really my biggest issue is if you're this, mega fans of these properties, why aren't you actually talking about them? That's where I want to kind of start.
Well, actually, that's I think it's fantastic you brought that out because I get to segue into promoting myself a bit because I'm actually going to be starting a new series where kind of the point is to celebrate our favorite fandoms. And Guardians of the Galaxy is actually going to be the first thing we're going to talk about. It's did you see the third one yet?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not sure what you thought of it, but I absolutely loved it. What do you think?
I loved it.
Oh, I thought it was
so
fantastic.
Good.
Oh God, yeah. The Rocket stuff. Rocket's my new favorite Guardian, and yeah.
Right? My God, they made me love a character I didn't care about.
I know. Like he's this CGI cartoon thing. Like I don't want to get into spoilers in case people haven't seen it, but it's just this goofy cartoon character, and I loved it. But yeah, we're gonna. I have this whole celebrating fandom series I want to start because actually, what you're bringing up is something I actually kind of thought about on my own channel because I was just making some imagery for myself. Dane, who I know you guys have some history, he made some logos and stuff for me, and it inspired me to kind of rework kind of how my channel looks. And I came up with a tagline called "Celebrating Fandom and Destroying Bigotry." And I was looking at that tagline, and I was like, I support people talking about their fandoms, but like. Most of what we do is just go after like the bigotry and the misinformation. So what I want to do is actually focus a bit more on celebrating fandom, and that one actually takes a bit more work because that's gonna be more like an essay forms thing. But like, yes, that's absolutely something that we want to do, and even as the initiative, I know that's something Turf Nations really want to go into, and Danes want to go into as well. We just did a Star Wars ranking.
Why is it taking so long, though? Like, I know Dane's had a channel for 3 or 4 years. You actually used to do that type of content. When
Yeah.
I go to your channel and I see most popular content, it's all fan loving stuff.
Yeah.
And then this last little, I don't know, year or so, you've turned into this like YouTube covering machine, drama alert style, and kind of abandon any sort of fandom. And when it comes to Turf Nation, again, it's not that I disagree with his videos, but you guys aren't promoting positive fandom. You're promoting your own brand of bigotry.
Well, wait. How are we promoting a brand of bigotry? That's a weird take.
Because you're absolutely anybody that has issues or questions or criticisms. It's this alt-right idea. I have a lot of right-leaning people in my audience. They're not terrible people because they disliked a movie or they didn't agree with a character or a race swap. They are just fans and like something their own personal way. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what I see from you guys is more of, I guess I would say, moral judgment from, oh my God. And I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I've called out people like Melody Mack or the Quartering or something for really crazy ideas. But these people are just fans. They're used to something one way, and that's okay. But to exclude them as always like Nazis or these terrible people, and then do the exact same thing they do, which I caught you guys in a bunch in your mission statement. We'll go through that, I promise. How can you call yourself fans and non-gatekeepers when that's essentially what you're doing?
Well,
You're gatekeeping, calling yourself real fans.
Well, I will be. I guess I'll be blunt. Essentially, when you're, if you want to have an open and inclusive community, you do have to do a little bit of gatekeeping, and the gatekeeping has to be against essentially bigotry and misinformation, which is pretty much what we call out. Like you were saying, we were calling out people for just having like negative reviews or something, and having a negative review isn't the issue. It's typically more like patterns and stuff like that. I'm trying to, like, most people we call out would be people like Nerdette or Critical Drinker or Geeks and Gamers, Melanie Mack, which you already brought up, and they are pretty bigoted in my opinion. So I guess I'm looking for a bit more, like, what are you talking about specifically? You there? Did we disconnect? I'm in her thing. It looks like she's offline. Okay. Have I taken over her channel too? Well, I guess. Yeah. The primary thing the Fandom Initiative is about is just kind of not supporting bigotry in any sense and calling out misinformation, which comes out often. Probably the biggest thing would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which just came out. And I was just talking about with my fans, and they're all talking about how it's a flop, it's going to bomb. And it officially just came in with the third lowest Marvel's second weekend ever. And it's got great word of mouth. So it's spreading out quite well. Oh, her computer shut down. Okay. Well, I mean, she'll be back soon. Guys, I can read the chat. I see that her computer shut down. A new link in 5 minutes. Can she not just rejoin the room? Well, like I said, like I'm working on a video. I'm actually pretty excited for the Guardians video. I have some good ideas for it. The script's done. I'm sharing it with people. But I have really good ideas on how to edit it. It should be fun. I'm excited for you guys to see it, actually. When this is done streaming, I might go ahead and record my part. I actually just did an edit to the script earlier today because there's another feature I thought of that I was like, oh, I want to add that. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like that's the thing. When you have an inclusive community, it's worth noting like you can't have people who are like talking shit on people for being trans or gay or anything like that. You can't. It just, the community will not function that way. So yeah, I welcome dissenting opinions, to be frank. When it comes, like, if we have different opinions on movies and stuff like that, I welcome that. Like, you know, in fact, we could have a discussion about that. But like, if you're just like, oh, I don't like so and so because they are a diversity hire, or you know, all those like dog whistle words, then I'm not interested in talking to you. Keep an eye on my email. Melanie doesn't go after individuals. Melanie was lying about Jazz Jennings on the video I covered of hers, so I don't know what you're talking about there. Yes, she does. She calls trans people demons as well. That is not a good look. No email yet. Okay. Well, I mean, I understand, because, like, like, 2 streams ago, I forgot to plug in my laptop, and it just died on me, so I understand, what she's going through right now. It will suck. Ah, here we go. Oh, she's gonna run it through StreamYard. Okay. All right, we're getting back in. Is she playing her old intro again? Now, You're just being picky, Dane. All right, are we, I'm not sure what's going on, guys. I'll be blunt. Did you send me an email? What's going on? I am so confused at this point. So it's been a while since I've been in this position on StreamYard. So like right now, I'm just in a window by myself in the bottom. I forgot. Is this what StreamYard's like when you don't have control? Ah, here we go.
So sorry.
It's all good. That was.
Hopefully you can hear me. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
I set it up on StreamYard because that's a Okay. What happened was I'm using a new program and it messed with my computer and my computer port is bad. So then it shut down my computer. So I ended that stream. I set it back up on StreamYard, which I more used to, and I hit go live and my computer died again. So I owe you a huge apology. I am so sorry. I did not mean for any of this to happen, but I'm keeping an eye on my port like crazy, which is getting fixed like this week. So I am very, very sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I am fine. But yeah, I just, like I said, like 2 streams ago, I forgot to plug in my laptop and it just died in the middle. So I understand.
And it sucks, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, how did I forget that? And I love how my computer has this thing where like, if it's currently like really active, it won't give you any low battery warnings. It'll just run till it dies. That's my favorite aspect of computer.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. It's great, right?
I didn't see it, and I'm so like I'm constantly messing up streams. Let's be real here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry. This is not how I wanted this to go, but my biggest apologies.
Mm-hmm. Well, that I will say, messing up streams, I feel has become a part of streaming because I do it all the time.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah, it's like if you aren't screwing up, you're doing it wrong. Honestly,
right. But are you fucking kidding me? You've got like I tried OBS on my computer. I can see you've got OBS running and all that. You've got all the fancy shit, and I'm still back here in 1984 with StreamYard, just trying to make it work. So I think you're doing pretty good.
OBS is
rocket science. It's rocket science.
It's amazing and also the biggest pain in the ass in the world.
It won't see. I did figure it out. I worked on it for 3 days, like 4 hours, all those days, and like I put a lot of hours and time into it. I got overlays and did it all the fancy, yeah. And unfortunately, then my computer decided it's a fucking potato. So it decided not to run it at all. So I gave up on that. So, with all that craziness aside, let's start this over. How are you today, Bob?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, let's talk. I think you know most of my issue here. But there is some things that I really noticed, the hypocrisy here. My biggest thing is, first off, acting like, Yeah, I'm not a fan of gatekeeping. Not at all. I am not a fan of Albus, I'm gonna kick your ass. Thank you so much. No audio, you're too low. I think I would hope you're fucking with me. I think I'm good. But so I'm not a fan of gatekeeping, and that's a big deal. And I know you're totally okay with that. And if that's okay, if that's your stance.
To a degree, it depends what the gatekeeping's over.
So if somebody didn't like Spider-Man, didn't like that Miles Morales was Spider-Man, which I think he is. I like Miles.
Well,
would you be okay with that?
Just not liking Miles Morales Spider-Man, I wouldn't have any issue with that.
As Spider-Man.
Yeah, as Spider-Man. Yeah, what do you mean as Spider-Man?
Okay.
Like saying he's not Spider-Man?
Like saying he deserves his own mantle and it's not necessary for him to be Spider-Man.
Well, you see, by taking that position, the person who would be taking that position is actually doing a bit of gatekeeping by saying that Miles somehow isn't worthy or somehow doesn't count as Spider-Man.
No. How is that? That's not gatekeeping. They're not keeping you off a platform. They're not doing anything besides giving their opinion, right?
Giving their opinion that Miles isn't Spider-Man, even though he absolutely is?
He absolutely is. I agree. But that is somebody's individual opinion, right?
I mean, that opinion at best would be misinformation. I mean, it all depends on the person, and you'd have to analyze it. But at best, that's misinformation.
Right, for sure. Okay, but I'm just saying, like, they're like the whole thing was you guys are ambassadors of fandom.
Yeah.
When you don't talk about the properties, you only talk about the YouTubers. I understand you want to in the future, but you're not currently.
Well, I mean,
you're not really making that content.
Well, if you caught the last Initiative stream, we actually did a Star Wars ranking. And then I know Dane just did a stream where we just talked about a whole bunch of stuff that we love. We talked about Expanse. We talked about Big Lebowski. We do. And we also cover these guys.
Right. And to be fair, that's kind of what I've always done on my channel for a long time. Mm-hmm. But I think there's a difference in the fact that I cover the properties as compared to just the YouTubers. And I think that's where I have the issue, because you guys have an issue, right, with people making a bunch of videos about Brie Larson or She-Hulk, right?
Okay, so what you just said, like, when I was talking about us doing a Star Wars ranking or us, like, talking about Big Lebowski and stuff like that was not through the context of our YouTuber. That was just us literally just talking about that stuff.
Right, but your main videos that you clip are not, ever. Like...
Well, I mean, I do lots of reaction videos, which is kind of the format I've gone to for talking about these guys.
Right.
Yeah.
That's your main content. So, like, you're talking about, what, 10% of your content is probably actual fandom related?
Well, it kind of depends. If you want to go into the podcast, I'm sure it's a lot more.
Right, but you don't put it on your main channel. Your podcast only has like 150 subscribers as compared to
but,
a pretty decent sized channel of 25,000.
Well, that's true, but if people want to go sign up, I mean, I'm all for it.
Right. But what I'm saying is the fandoms that you are supposedly ambassadors of right now and trying to make an open fandom about, you rarely talk about. That's the point.
Well, I guess the question is what, like, yeah, we actually do talk about stuff we like, and we talk about these guys. So I guess,
right.
I guess the question is, like, are you looking for a certain ratio? What are you looking for?
No. I'm having a conversation with you.
Okay.
I'm asking you because when I went through your content, and I went through a lot of it in pretty detailed stuff, not only yours but the Fandom Initiative. I would say at least 90% of it is covering other YouTube. But one thing I did notice is you guys kind of laughing or sulking at the fact that they make all these videos about Brie Larson, but that's exactly what you do for Rags or for Nerdette or Critical Drinker. You've made your content based around that, and then make fun of them for doing the same thing, and it's highly hypocritical.
Wait a minute. When we're talking about like people like Nerdrotic or Critical Drinker, we're talking about people who are using their platform to spread misinformation, as opposed to Brie Larson, who is an actress.
Right. That doesn't change the fact that you make fun of somebody for making videos about Brie Larson, somebody who they don't like, and I'm not a fan of Nerdrotic or those type of people. But you do the exact same thing. Like the exact same thing. They don't like what she says, so they make videos about her. You don't like what they say, so you make videos about them. You don't see how that's a little bit hypocritical?
Well, do you see, like, I have a question. So one of the big things we do is essentially call out misinformation and bigotry. Part of our goal is to clear it up.
Most of your videos that I watched in the past 3 days are all opinion-based. I understand calling out bigotry, but again, that's opinion-based too.
Well,
so you're not calling... if you're calling out misinformation, like, I did a video recently where the quartering said that Mark Hamill had a Nazi flag behind him, and it in fact was not. That is true misinformation. Mm-hmm. What you're calling out is your opinion.
Can you give me, like, yeah, I mean, there will be opinions, but, like, can you give me an example? Like, what are you talking about?
Well, we can take a look at your channel. That's not a problem.
Okay.
We can take a look at how opinion-based they are. When you say you're calling out misinformation and bigotry, and I have no problem. I want everybody to have their opinion. But just like I want you to have your opinion, those people are allowed to have theirs too. Do you not see the issue with that?
Well, I mean, do you see the issue with them? Okay, so listen. I don't object to them. Like, if these are their honest opinions, I don't object to them saying them. I don't. I do have suspicions on whether or not they are actually their honest opinions at the end of the day.
But we don't get to make that moral decision, do we? Sure, we can call them grifters. Absolutely.
Well,
sure. But we don't get to make that decision. Drinker is a talentless hack. That is a opinion. I've even heard Turf Nation say that he has talent when it comes to reviews.
Yeah, I actually came across something where I'm not so sure about that. But anyways, yeah, so if you want to say, like, that's an opinion, sure, I'll give that to you. But essentially that whole video was just about him complaining about how Bo-Katan's taken over Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy's destroying the franchise.
So that's his opinion, correct?
Yeah, but don't you see there's, like, when you have well, let me ask you this. What's your thoughts on Kathleen Kennedy?
I don't care about Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars person. But I did watch the videos because I wanted to kind of get a feel for how you interacted with people.
Okay.
You can see I watched a bunch.
Yeah, you've watched a few. So, I mean, Kathleen Kennedy is, without doubt, one of the most accomplished producers in history. Possibly one.
For sure. She's done a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But yet these guys are talking about her like she's the end of Star Wars, all uniformly. And they're essentially talking about her like she's a diversity hire and special hire. I've heard them use that description of her quite a bit.
So they think Kathleen Kennedy runs Star Wars essentially into the ground. You disagree, and that was your whole premise?
Well,
Again, these are opinions. You said you're correcting misinformation, but you're not. You're just.
But
all your content is based around them having opinions.
Well, okay, but frequently what I see in their arguments almost all the time is that she's some sort of diversity hire for Disney.
I have no idea. I've never heard them say that personally. I've heard them say it about the Andor guy.
They said that about the Andor guy too. Don't you think that's weird?
Yes, it's fucking weird, and it's a dumb opinion to have. But again, they're still allowed that opinion.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, sure, they're allowed that opinion, but like when they're continuously calling out women and minorities in media, they're allowed to have that opinion, and I am allowed to have the opinion that is bigotry.
Then how can you say that you are just correcting misinformation?
I didn't say I'm just doing that. I said I'm calling out misinformation and bigotry.
And bigotry, right. So, to them, not liking Brie Larson is the same. They don't like what she has to say, so they're just calling it out. Do you see how hypocritical this is?
Okay, so, like, what are your thoughts on Brie Larson?
I never seen Captain Marvel because it wasn't that interesting. I like Captain Marvel as a character, so I read a lot of her stuff. But as far as Brie Larson goes, I have no issue with her.
Okay, I mean, I actually, she has said some things I'm not thrilled with. That being said, have you seen her say anything that requires about 1 billion YouTube videos to call out?
No, but I also don't think saying the same thing about the same YouTubers over and over requires 1 billion videos to call out either.
Well, we've hardly done 1 billion videos, but that being said, yeah, she's just an actress who essentially stated her opinion about a movie. I think it was Wrinkle in Time, which isn't a very good movie in my opinion. But essentially saying she doesn't care what white men say about the movie, and then all around the internet, people got triggered by that. And I have to ask, why were they so triggered?
Because it was a woman saying that about white straight men.
Yeah.
The same thing was said by Christian Bale, very similar thing, and nobody batted an eye. Mm-hmm. That's not my point I'm making here.
I mean,
this is why I tried to tell you through email. I'm calling out. I'm not against a lot of your opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm against a lot of the hypocrisy behind it.
Well, I mean, so they're allowed to say pretty bigoted stuff, and we aren't allowed to call it out. Is that your stance?
But then don't pretend like you're this amazing initiative that has the fans in heart when all you talk about is YouTubers and not even the properties.
Well, like I just said, we do talk about the properties, and we're going to go into them even more in the future.
You're going to do it more in the future, right? Don't you see how you should be covering? Have you done a review on Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
On your main channel?
No, not on my main channel.
On the podcast. Initiative?
No, not yet.
On the initiative?
I mean,
see what I'm saying?
So, like,
are you reviewing?
So, like, a review of Guardians of the Galaxy would certainly change your mind on everything?
If you were covering the properties that you claim to love, yes.
I did cover
that would
it
be
in
the
the
difference,
podcast,
all the difference in the world.
I'm doing an essay on it.
All of it, but yes. You did an essay on it?
Yeah, I'm doing an essay on it. I'm putting it together. Essays take time.
What? Like you're doing a scripted video?
Yeah.
Okay. So then have you covered like Andor, all the other shows on there? Because I went through your videos in great detail and I did not see a single review.
Well, like I said, you can go into the podcast.
Well, years ago, but not recently.
Yeah, like I said, you can go into the podcast. I cover all that stuff.
But isn't the Fandom Initiative where it should be if this is going to be about the fans?
Well, I mean, the Fandom Initiative is a joint project between myself, Dane, and Turf. And like I said, we're going to be doing more stuff like that. But specifically, the Fandom Initiative was kind of almost formed with the idea of looking at a lot of the misinformation that's getting spread through these people who posed as critics, essentially.
Okay. All right. Well, we're just going to keep rocking around in circles because then you gave off the completely wrong idea. Because when you guys initially, I saw Turf Nation do a video about it and he said the exact opposite. He was supposed to be about the fans, everything else. So it seems like
it is
you don't know what you want it to be right now. Let's move on a little bit.
It is about the fans. Don't you think, number one, we are talking about providing a community where fans can talk and not have to worry about a lot of
that's bullshit because there's no way I could come into your audience with the opinions that I have and have a conversation. There's no way half of my audience could.
I mean, it kind like I don't see how your opinions would necessarily be shut down. Like what opinions are you talking about?
Well, I'm assuming you're not familiar with my channel.
I've seen a
but
bit, but not a lot.
I'm rather abrasive.
A lot. Actually, I'm fine if you're abrasive, but like a lot.
Like, I don't think calling a black man chunky monkey, for instance, is a cool thing to say.
I will say maybe that wasn't the best phrasing, but
or Uncle Tom.
Well, I don't know.
You realize how many videos you would have made if that was said by them?
By them? I don't know why I would care. I mean,
the worst thing you have that Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers said was literally diversity hire. Dane has said worse about real people, not actors.
Well, number one, I'm not Dane, but number two, like, what, like, I'm not even sure.
But this was about
where they said worse.
The Fandom Initiative, right?
Yeah, it's about the Fandom Initiative, for sure.
Okay. And he's in it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you could argue Chunky Monkey was perhaps a poor choice of word. I won't argue against that.
Right. To be fair, I do think he was saying, like, Chunky Monkey, like the ice cream thing. But if any of those people we have previously talked about were to say that, you guys would have been on the attack.
Well, I mean, they've said much, much worse in general.
Like diversity hire, because that's not worse.
Well, I don't know if I'd go to diversity hire, but most of these guys have dropped the N-word regularly. I mean, they've said a lot worse. And again, I've never seen Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, who I don't like and I don't consume his content, say the N-word. Okay. I don't know if I've seen him say the N-word as well. I have heard him say that essentially he does this all for clicks and doesn't really care about anything.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he? I think most of us knew that.
Well, yeah.
Like, if you watch more
obvious,
than 2 videos.
But I mean, he has admitted it, and lots of people take him seriously, and that's a problem.
Sure. Absolutely. And that's why I think debunking is good, but not constant, especially when you're not actually giving light to the properties that you pretend to love. That's the biggest issue with you guys. You have a solid idea, but a terrible execution. And then what really got me on your guys' kind of watching was, let me pose this question to you before I bring this up. About 6 months ago, Comicsgate doxed me.
Okay.
Do you think that's okay?
Absolutely not.
They put my real name out there, all of that fun stuff. Do you think you don't like that, right?
No. Yeah, I'm against
that.
Then
why did you guys become completely okay with putting Rag's real name out there?
Well, Rag's real name is out there.
Where?
IMDb.
Has he ever released it himself?
He posted on IMDb.
Do you have proof of that?
We can go to IMDb and look at it.
How do you know he put it on there? You're telling me he put it on there?
Probably.
Because by your video...
Well, I mean, even
you said it was on...
Well, again,
actually, it was Pop Counterculture said you guys found this literally on 4chan.
I don't know where he found it. I know where I found it. It was on IMDb.
Like, I can pull that up.
Yeah, IMDb? Yeah, go ahead.
So you found it, but it wasn't. Anyone can post on IMDb.
Okay.
Right. So you don't know that was him. So you're okay with putting his name out there, which makes it so much easier for swatting for anything.
It's public information if it's on IMDb. You can find me on IMDb.
So if somebody takes it from 4chan and put it on IMDb, you are totally fine with putting that out there. So what you're saying is being doxxed is inconsequential because it doesn't matter if somebody puts it out there.
Have you ever worked with IMDb? You can remove it if you want. If it gets out there, you can remove it.
Anybody can put it on there. You realize that, right?
Yes, but if you're the person who owns it, you can remove it.
If you're the person that owns what?
If it's your page, like if it's talking about you, you can remove it. You can contact them. They'll fix it up.
Are you going to bring it up where you have the proof that he put it on there?
Well, the fact is, it's public information. What does it matter? I mean,
So now that my name was put onto forums, it's now okay for you to put it out there and everybody else to spread docs.
well, we're just talking. Number one, we're just talking about a name. Number two, he has it on IMDb. He could remove it anytime he wants.
I think. Is he breaking up? Is it just
Can
me?
Can you not hear me?
Are you
seems
breaking
like you're
up
taking
there?
a while to reply.
No, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay.
There you go. You're good now. His name is
Okay.
not on there.
It was.
So
It was when Ed did that, but
I have the clip where he says he found it on 4chan or Kiwi Farms, one of the two.
well, Kiwi Farms won't be reliable whatsoever. If he said that I would disagree with that completely.
So do you see why that's an issue? It's not okay when they do it to me, or it wouldn't be okay if they did it to anyone in your audience or Dane or you. But you guys were perfectly fine with doing it to Rags. And actually Pop Counter Culture said he was okay with it because he didn't respect people's pronouns.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that justification. That being said, even when Ed did that stream, it was on IMDb. Like, maybe Rags changed it, maybe he saw that and changed it.
But you can't prove that.
But
I can prove that he said it was on 4chan. And I can prove, Kiwi Farms. And I can prove that it's not on IMDb. Do you realize how this is? You guys do you not see why I'm saying you're two sides of the same coin? You're okay with doxing as long as it's not your side. You're okay with gatekeeping as long as it's not your side.
All right. Well, I mean, we're talking about something that used to be publicly out there and isn't now.
But you can't prove that.
I probably could have given more time, but not here on a live stream. I mean, if you want, I can email you later and dig it up.
Yes, that would be great.
Okay.
That would be great. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I will get to the super chats, guys. I'm sorry. I want to have the conversation first. I promise I will get to them. But so I apologize. One thing I wanted to talk to you about is we're going to talk a little bit about you guys did I will say the editing was great. The editing was great. I want to give you a compliment before going into this. It was like a mission statement video. You know which one I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Why was the thumbnail changed?
I mean, the thumbnail changed.
They had political groomers before, and that's not the thumbnail that's up there now.
Oh, because we all did a different thumbnail for each of our channels. It's all on all three of our channels. And,
right, but why was the political groomer one taken down?
Was it?
I can't find it.
I mean, that
I could be wrong.
That one would be on Dane's channel, I believe.
That's where I watched it, I believe. I will double check. That's on Dane's channel. Oh, yes, he absolutely changed the thumbnail.
Okay.
I'm just curious why that was done. Do you think it was maybe in bad faith?
I can't read his mind. I have no idea.
Okay. Also, with that video, you said they're here to hate on you and perhaps much more.
I mean, for what it's worth, I don't...
What's the more?
Hold on, you got me digging up videos right now. But, they're here to hate on you and maybe more. What is this in reference to?
I'm quoting your video. I have a bunch of quotes I want to talk about.
What video? I said that?
In your mission statement video, it was one of your guys'
Oh,
parts.
the mission statement. Okay. So I see where you're at. Okay. I guess that makes sense. We were just talking about it. My brain's not what it used to be. Anyways, yeah, well, I mean, I pretty much, if you're not a straight white male, yeah, they're pretty much here to hate on you. And as far, like, or are you talking about, like, the comments? Because, like, I did notice, essentially,
No, I
when
just wanted to know what the much more meant.
and much more, there's,
Like, are they going to stab me? Like, you're
Well, I mean,
insinuating violence within that video multiple times.
well, I mean, we bring up violent acts that have been committed kind of in the same vein, although, yeah, I mean, it's kind of related.
You
but,
bring
like,
up January 6th,
yeah.
and I am not
So-
defending January 6th, but you're making a connection between Mahler and January 6th. Do you see how far you have to reach here?
Okay, so do you not think people like Jeremy Griggs or Nerdrotic would have marched on January 6th if they were there?
Probably,
Yeah.
but they weren't. So how can I
Okay.
say for sure?
Do you think they would have supported the Capitol being overthrown?
I have no idea.
I mean,
I don't
I
doubt
mean,
that they would,
I
but
have-
they didn't. They weren't there.
all
You
right,
can't put intentions on somebody that weren't literally there.
all right, but like I know Jeremy still supports Trump, very vocally.
Don't you think they could come back and go, well, don't you think somebody like Bob would have went to a Black Lives Matter rally and
Well, how many black?
caused destruction and looting? Like, do you see how this is two sides of the same coin?
You're saying Black Lives Matter and January 6th are the same thing? Because I missed
No,
the Black.
absolutely not. I'm using two different sides of
Well, I mean,
an argument.
you're comparing them like they're similar. There's never been a single Black Lives Matter rally that tried to overthrow the government.
No, I never said there was. See, this is what you're doing. You're arguing in bad faith. You're trying to put intentions
No.
on me and words in my mouth.
You were the one that equated them, though.
I used violent tactics in a situation like January 6th to violent tactics that happen with bad faith actors on at Black Lives Matter rallies.
Okay.
Right? So stop arguing in bad faith. This is why
how is this bad faith? That's
You're saying I'm comparing them to two, that they're the same thing. No, I'm telling you, this is exactly what they could have said about you. But you didn't do anything.
Okay, but then I would
do
just
anything wrong
then I
in that
would
sense.
just reply what I just replied to you then.
What?
That, like, Black Lives Matter. Number one, I actually didn't go to a Black Lives Matter rally. I actually did plan to, but I never made it. But that being said, even if like, there's never been a Black Lives rally that tried to overthrow the Capitol. So, like, they're not the same thing.
Hold on. Did I say they were the same thing?
But you just compared
Did I?
them.
Hold on. Answer yes or no. It's not that hard. Did I say they were the same thing?
Okay, so verbatim, no, you didn't say they're the same thing, but you just compared them.
Nor did I mean. You are not. This is arguing in bad faith, Bob.
How?
I didn't say they were the
How?
same thing. Because I was talking about violence and violence on both sides. I'm saying they could say the same thing about you. They weren't there. You can't put intentions in their heart. You can say maybe they would have, but you
Well-
can't say that they caused violence. You literally allude to it multiple times over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I can tell what you're doing, so I may not talk too much longer. But I will say, I'm not judging these people based on, like, what I think I see in their hearts or some sort of psychic connection or anything. I'm judging them by their actions.
What's really weird to me is you're trying to argue in bad faith to me, but one of the
How?
sources that you use in that video is Noah Bertlansky.
Noah Bertlansky.
You use Noah Bertlansky as a gotcha for Comicsgate in that video when that man's a literal pedo. Have you ever heard of Protasia?
No.
It is a pedo organization, and you use them as a source.
Okay, I know nothing about this, so...
All because he wrote a derogatory I think it was New York Times, on Comicsgate. And you use them as a source, as if that's a credible source. You use multiple sources that are really, really bad.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
Can you
But
send
you
me like
also
a
use
link or
something
something?
like
Because I'm
Social
not even
Blade?
sure what you're talking about. No,
I can't hear you.
I don't know. Like, you're talking about this Noah Bertlansky guy? I don't
can't
even
hear you.
know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who that is at all.
But you still use them as a source, right?
We did? When? In the mission statement?
In the video, he wrote an article about Comicsgate.
Noah Bertlansky, the writer for CNN? Or The Independent?
Yes. I don't know who he writes for right now.
I mean, he wrote for The Independent 2 days ago. You're saying he's a pedophile? Based on what?
I can send you. He's a staff contributor for Protasia. I would definitely look into that before using him as a resource.
I mean, he's working for The Independent. If he was a pedophile, I think they would boot him out really fast.
You're more than welcome to look into it, but he is absolutely not a source you want to be using.
I mean, do you have anything to back up what you're saying right now?
Sure, I can send you the stuff.
Okay.
Actually, I'll just share it. Let me zoom in here so you don't see any information. Meet Noah Bertlansky, the Ruskin University Press
What website is it?
published author working hard to normalize pedophilia.
What website is that?
That was right off of Facebook. That's why I zoomed in real quick. Let me go to the actual article.
Yeah, Facebook is anything can go on Facebook.
Yeah. That's just where it was posted. Norbert Lansky is a communications director of the organization that engages in the normalization of pedophilia. The name of the organization is Protasia Foundation, and it does appear to endorse extremely problematic opinions.
All right. What's the name of this website?
You have to look into Protasia. It is one of the most sickest places I have talking to kids about things they should not be talking about.
Michael Tracy is a suspicious source right away.
Michael, I don't know who that is. How would I know who that is?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Here's him endorsing Protasia.
This article reads like or at least looks like something we'd see for Bounding into Comics, which is a worthless website.
This is him, and you can see here, this is him talking about being the communication director at Protasia, right?
Okay, let me look up Protasia. Let's see, how do you spell Protasia?
P-R-O
Protasia Inc.
S-T-A-S-I-A. I can send you a wonderful takedown video of Protasia and what they have done. They actually, I think it was Shoe on Head that did a great video about it.
protecting children by upholding the rights and freedoms of all. We are a child protection organization that combines our zero tolerance of child sexual abuse with our commitment to human and civil rights. I mean, this seems like a group specifically started to be against child abuse.
They advocate for MAPS.
Remind me, what's MAPS?
The little disgusting name given to pedophiles, minor attracted people.
Argued for the use of the terms MAPS. So, Dr. Alan Walker argued for the... Yeah, that's pretty cringe. I definitely do not support that. Yeah, like I said, like, this is all going to require a lot of research. I'm not familiar with this this group, but like I said, Noah Berlansky is a writer for The Independent. I'm sure if there's stuff about him being a pedophile, they wouldn't let him write. That's a major news source. That'd be a huge deal.
Well, I can show you some of the stuff that they've said, and I can send you a long, detailed video on some of
Okay, who did this video?
what they've done.
Oh, it's Shoe on Head.
Shoe. And you're not gonna like Shoe on Head because she's not or I'm assuming far enough left.
I have very mixed feelings on Shoe on Head.
Okay. I mean, and that's fine. Here's me, Noah Berlansky. I can send this to you all. Here, I can send you all of the proof that you want, and you still, like I said, even if you didn't know.
I mean, again, what's Shoe's source here?
And I totally.
Yeah, you popped out.
You're breaking up.
Yeah.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Here, I'll send this to you in the private chat, and you can do this in your own time. I'm just saying, just because you're using a source that's kind of, that makes me question a lot of your sources. You also use Social Blade.
Which one is Social Blade?
You actually know how inaccurate Social Blade is, right?
I mean, it gives you a range.
Okay, let me give you an example here. I did really good during the Johnny Depp time. There was a month that it said I should have made $1.1 million, right? Okay. And I made $4,000.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
You use that as a definitive source to say that they were in it for the money. To show how much money they were making.
Well, at least to my experience, it's fairly reliable. But it's not perfect by any means. Obviously, it doesn't catch when you're not monetized.
There's a big difference between $1.1 million and $4,000.
No, that is a big difference.
They have you gotta use real sources.
Like, when have we ever said, aha, here's Social Blade, and that proves our case?
No, you actually didn't show it with Social Blade. I think you tried to hide that. But I recognized it from using it in the past.
Okay, like, when have any of our cases hinged on Social Blade?
You literally have it in your video.
And also, like, I don't recall hinging a case on Social Blade as if it's some sort of keystone or anything. But that being said, like, yeah, like, you're saying we're claiming we're in it for the money when people like Jeremy literally say they're in it for the money?
When you were claiming that they were only in it for the money, and I do believe a lot of them are.
Yeah, a lot of them have admitted it.
Yes. Bye, Otis. I'm so sorry. He's leaving. Wonder Woman was better than Captain Marvel. 100% agree. Bye, Otis. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. But your whole little shtick was that they were in it for the money, and look at how much money they're making. And it was a whole, like, you had dozens of YouTubers on there. You even had I Love Comics, who's not a grifter at all. But you had their how much they made.
What are you talking about?
That's the name of the channel. You had I Love Comics on there.
When was this? I don't think I've ever
Oh my
heard
God!
of them.
It's literally on your video. I can show you. You use Social Blade as a source, and then show I Love Comics.
Does I Love Comics go by a different name? Like,
no. You use Social Blade here, and again, terrible source, one of the worst sources to how much they make. And you have all of these YouTubers on here. Right there is I Love Comics.
This is just going over, what was this going over?
How much they make.
Yeah, it's estimates and shit, yeah.
There, I didn't realize you guys couldn't see it over here. Like, this is a you can't.
Okay, so
this is a terrible source.
Wait. Let me. So, like, you're arguing against the idea that they're doing it for the money, despite the fact that most of them have admitted they're in it for the money?
Wait, say that one more time?
You're arguing against the idea that they're in it for the money when most of them have admitted that?
I think I've heard maybe 2. But no, I Love Comics is not in it for the money. Not even a little bit.
Okay, I'm not familiar with I Love Comics. That was a chart
but
done
you were
by
familiar enough to put them in your fucking video.
Yeah, no, it's a chart from a reliable source that we didn't. It's not something we compiled.
Your reliable source is Social Blade. Okay? Okay, all right, I guess so. In your mission statement, when you use so there's this part where you go through, and you say these people use emotionally charged and loaded statements that elicit animosity. Right?
Yeah.
That was your guys' words. Don't you do exactly the same? Like, listen.
So
your most recent titles, hold on. Emotionally charged and loaded statements that elicit animosity. Your most recent titles are Clownfish TV supports assaulting people on strike. Nerdrotic is a triggered snowflake. Melanie Mac is a transphobe.
Yeah, no, number one,
Those
I wouldn't even...
animosity in our emotionally charged and loaded statements.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not against doing that. My point is they're doing it to support misinformation and bigotry, which is the primary thing we're calling out.
So then why put it in there if you're not against it?
Don't you think it's bad to use language like that to support and enhance bigotry and misinformation?
I think it's bad to clickbait, but I admit when I do it.
Well, I mean, clickbaiting is part of the game, but like they're doing it.
Exactly.
They're literally doing it to push bigotry and misinformation. Don't you think that's an issue?
Then don't call out people for clickbaiting and then do the same.
But don't.
I understand that I don't like Melanie Mac because I do think she's a transphobe. I do think she uses some awful opinions in order to justify her being kind of crappy, right? But that doesn't mean that I am not going to support her right to say what she fucking wants.
Well, I mean, absolutely. She's allowed to say what she wants, just like I'm allowed to say, hey, that's transphobic and that's bigoted. And that's actually when I covered her in that video, she was actually spreading misinformation as well. She's hitting everything.
Right, and that's not a normal thing for you, right? If you're just covering it for misinformation, that's exactly why I covered, I believe, did you cover the Dylan Mulvaney video? Or did you cover the
Actually,
Spider-Verse one.
I'm trying. I covered the Spider-Verse one.
Okay. Yeah. It was misinformation, and that's why I covered it. But most of the time, what you're covering is not in misinformation. It's simple opinions, right? People are allowed to be bigots, and it sucks. It does. It sucks.
So,
but you're
okay.
giving them so much more attention. You are just signal boosting the fuck out of them.
So, how do you think you were supposed to deal with bigotry then? Because I'll be blunt. When we're dealing with people like Critical Drinker, I don't think they need a signal boost from me.
I'm not familiar with Critical Drinker, but I know he's probably got a lot of subs. We watched a woke video one time. The way you covered is if you're gonna pretend like you are this gate. I don't know, you say it's not gatekeeping, but it is. If you are wanting better for fandom, then you signal boost the fandom, not these anti-fans, as you call them, because you don't signal boost the fandom at all.
All right, so let me ask you something. So you've already said multiple times that you actually agree with a lot of what we say, correct?
For sure, but I don't force my views on other people. At least I try not to.
Well, I mean, how do we force our views on other people?
By blocking them if they have dissenting opinions.
Well, just having a dissenting opinion isn't enough, but if they're spreading bigotry and misinformation, then yeah, I'll block them. They don't have right to my channel.
Right, no, and I agree. Same here, but same on my channel. But I have a lot of people. What you don't understand and what you're doing wrong here is you're demonizing and otherizing people that maybe are misinformed, that maybe don't understand.
Well, then maybe
haven't been giving a different opinion, maybe haven't been given a different worldview, and maybe by covering the topic of, okay, well, this was claimed, this was woke, here's the truth in the situation, right? And that's how Dane started, to be fair. That's how Dane started, and that's why I really liked his channel. But then it was like, Ethan Van Sciver did this, Comicsgate did this. It was all, there was no fandom involved. It was all going at people covering more of the fandom than you actually do.
All right. So, I feel the need to go back a couple steps because we never got to what I kind of wanted to address. So, you already said you agree with a lot of our points. You know, obviously we have differences, but you agree with a lot of our points. So I have to ask why, because it really feels like you're really poking around and looking for stuff to disagree with us on, just to disagree. I mean, that's what it feels like.
No, I think you're just as much of political groomers as they are.
I mean, okay, so groomer is a very loaded term. It's been fucking politicized.
That's why I said political.
But all right, so I guess let's go ahead and establish exactly what you mean by that.
I mean, you claim they indoctrinate people to right-wing politics when that's exactly what you do also.
All right, so
except for on the left.
Do you think that just in like spreading political messages is something I have an objection to?
No.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, I don't.
But it shows what a hypocrite you're being.
So wait. How am I a hypocrite? I don't have an issue of spreading political messages.
You give them constant shit. For being political groomers, so to speak.
Well, that's the thing.
But you're doing the same thing.
Well,
you're pushing your opinions on somebody else, and once they disagree, you're blocking them. So you're simply doing the same thing on the left.
So, yeah, okay, but just spreading political ideologies, that's fine. If they were true libertarians, just spread libertarians, okay, fine, cool, whatever. But that's not what they're doing as far as politics. What they're doing is spreading bigotry and misinformation.
Right, you keep saying that over and over. They're spreading bigotry and misinformation, right?
Mm-hmm.
but you're not correcting only misinformation. There's been dozens of times I've made videos correcting misinformation. There's been dozens of times when it's actual misinformation, but I don't get to decide. This is what I have the issue with of you pushing your politics. You have decided that you have the moral high ground, right?
I don't.
Because you are not a bigot like in your words. You have the moral high ground.
I wouldn't phrase it quite like that. All I'm saying is I'm noticing.
Yes, you would, because
behavior.
You call everybody bigots.
All right. Yeah. Well, here. Okay, I'll throw a couple of examples at you. Do you remember when Prey came out?
Prey? Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, do you remember what their argument was against Prey?
I'm sure it was woke. Oh my God, woman.
Well, yeah. No, their argument against Prey was essentially, how could a woman beat up a predator?
Okay. That's a dumb argument.
Yeah, it's a really dumb argument.
And I won't take people like that seriously.
Okay.
So
Okay, so let me throw another example.
Attacking them doesn't help that. Doing a review of the movie and telling how good it is and what's so great about it is what helps that.
So what you're arguing is that, hey, these guys are saying really bad things, but we shouldn't call it out, even though they're building their fan base and getting huge?
I never once said you shouldn't come out. I'm saying don't pretend like don't pretend like you're an ambassador for fandom when you guys don't even speak about the fandom. Like, this is what's weird to me. The reason I originally subscribed to Dane was I thought he was a comic book person. And I still think he is to a point. But I've never seen comic book reviews. I've never seen you guys talk about comics. I've never even really seen you talk about movies that you enjoyed in
that's
a review format.
I already brought up that I do the podcast, but apparently that's not popular enough to cover, so that doesn't count. So
which means you're putting it on your backup channel because you know it won't get clicks, right?
So why does that not count though?
It does count to a point, but it just shows you don't have the confidence in that content as compared to attacking somebody like Nerdette.
It's not about confidence in the content. It's the fact that I co-own that podcast, so it's going to be on a separate thing.
It's what? I didn't hear the last part of your sentence.
I co-own that podcast. I mean, I founded it, but I co-own it at this point.
Okay, so what's the issue with... So if these are things you guys love and you're interested, what is the issue with covering them on your channel?
Well, I mean, I do...
And not having it be a political discussion. I'm talking about not covering the, oh my God, the wokies, oh my God, the SJW, anti-SJW, anti-fans, whatever the hell you want to call it. Just doing a downright fucking review or playing a video game you like or covering a comic book you like. Don't you see how it's so hypocritical? They're at least covering the content. You're just covering them. You're playing second fiddle.
But, yeah, okay, so you don't think bigotry should be called out?
I don't, yeah. I call out bullshit all the time. But I don't feel like that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to enjoy shit with my community. That's what you pretended you were for there too.
All right.
That's what the Fandom Initiative, right? Isn't that how you sold it?
Well, yeah, and that's what we're building. You do understand the initiative hasn't been around that long, right? Like, we're not going to have everything you want immediately.
Right. How long have you guys been around?
What, 6 months?
It takes more than 6 months to review a single movie or talk about something you love?
Well, like I said, we do talk about stuff we love, and like I said, if you want to look up movie reviews, I do them regularly.
On your podcast?
Yes.
Well, let's look at the Fandom Initiative. Because this is the main channel. It's your channel.
I mean,
like your main channel. I honestly don't give a shit because my issue is pretending like you're ambassadors of fandom, and then only covering literally other people. Where's ISOM? What does that have to do with anything?
I mean,
the Fandom Menace. If you're subscribed to one channel, you could probably say you'd know the opinions of the rest of them, right?
Well, sure. But
Can I say the same about this group?
okay, so number one, people enjoy seeing these guys dunked on for the fools they actually are. And number two, like, you do understand that's kind of what brought Dane and myself and Turf together, right?
Then why are you selling it as ambassadors of fandom?
I mean, we have a giant Discord where we allow fans to talk, and we are covering more and more stuff that we're fans of. So,
But it takes you 6 months to cover anything that's related to fandom whatsoever. Because my biggest problem here,
I don't remember exactly, but like, you scrolled past the Mando bit. Yeah, Sit on My Face right there. Sit on My Face was essentially us talking about our opinions on Mandalorian Season 3.
Okay. So one out of all of them.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we formed the initiative because we all kind of covered similar topics. And then we're going more into, our fandoms. Yeah, this is...
Out of curiosity, what does Ron DeSantis, who I've covered on my channel, but I've never claimed to be an ambassador of fandom, what does he have to do with comic books or comic book movies or Star Wars?
Ron DeSantis, well, I mean, he's a major political figure. He has power, and he was one of the ones who's been seriously pushing about making woke illegal and stuff like that. So he seems relevant.
Making woke illegal.
Yeah, that's been like his big campaigning thing.
He's an idiot. We can agree to that.
No shit.
He's where the woke goes to die or whatever.
Yeah, he is an idiot, but he's somebody with serious political power.
But that has nothing to do with what you guys have sold this channel on.
Sold.
And even so much more. You go in your mission statement and you flash clips of Trump when talking, like in a very subliminal way. You flash clips of Trump talking and say, kind of like this guy, or exactly like this guy, when talking about these YouTubers. Okay. Don't you see how that's a little manipulative, and then claim they're the manipulative ones?
Are you arguing that they don't support those things?
I don't care who they support. I don't care about them. And I'm sure they do. This is the problem I have with all of you guys. Is you guys claim to be these ambassadors of fandoms, you and the Jeremy Griggs of the world, and none of you are talking about it. They're at least talking about why it's bad. You're not even talking about why it's bad. You're talking about that.
Like I said, you can look up my podcast. I mean, just because you don't want to look it up because it doesn't have enough views, fine, but it's there. You're allowed to look at it. It's right there.
But that's your podcast. That's not the Fandom Initiative channel that you sold on Fandom.
Yes, and we're still building it up. Like, you do understand this type of thing takes time, right?
It doesn't take 6 months to do something like that. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Like, the first day I introduced my channel, I did a video on Heroes in Crisis, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't take... That's a really...
I mean, if you're talking about the history of the channel, yeah, I covered lots of stuff, and my first edited video was on Man of Steel.
Yeah, that's why I said what happened in the beginning.
Well, if you want to know what happened, was I started covering these guys, and essentially I realized how bad it is. Because initially my thought was, oh, okay, I'll just look at like bad critics and kind of dunk on them, just to entertain myself. I did not treat this seriously whatsoever when I dove into it. And then I found people took these critics, or so-called critics, very seriously. Like, it was almost tribalistic the way people acted around them. And that's when I realized this is a serious problem that YouTube is essentially allowing to go through. It's all based on outrage clicks. People click on a video that gets them, you have people hate watching and people love watching these people, and it gets them tons and tons of clicks. And YouTube just circulates them around because it makes them money.
Hold on. Let me ask a question. Do you think your morality is the only one that works?
Where is that coming from?
Because you said what a problem it was, all these other YouTubers, and YouTube, the words you used was YouTube is allowing it.
Yeah, YouTube is allowing the spread of bigotry and misinformation. I think that's an issue.
So you think they should be deplatformed?
I don't know if I would say that, but I definitely think they need deprioritized in the algorithm for sure. Do you not think misinformation or bigotry is an issue?
Of course, but I don't get to decide. My morality
Well,
is not
I mean, that's
superior to anyone. Everybody has equality here.
That's the thing. Like, you're hitting on it. So I don't know the exact solution to this situation. All I know is that these guys are a problem. But if you're asking me the exact solution, I have no idea. I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for them having a platform and saying their stuff. But, like, this is a problem. And right now, my only option is to call it out because that's the only power I have. So that's what I'm doing.
So, what do you think of the idea of if you don't like it, don't watch it?
I mean, in general, that's fine.
So then, why are you wasting your time?
Because I think it's important to
Like,
call
I understand
it out.
it's entertainment. I do the same thing from time to time.
I mean,
But if you want to build up your channel on... Right now, you've made your channel... You made your channel to begin with. And I went through some of your old videos. The quality is there. They're good videos. You can tell you're a fan. The problem is that it feels like you've descended into this political activist to a point where the fandom is secondary to the outrage.
Well, to be blunt, all that's happened is I realized how bad this was on YouTube. Because for years I knew these guys existed, but I always thought they were just a joke. Like, it's like, oh, they're screaming about being woke. Woke doesn't mean ha ha ha. And then suddenly I do a couple videos pointing this out, and all of a sudden I get like these seas and waves of people calling me all types of things. And I realize this is a serious problem. YouTube is pushing this stuff, or the algorithm is pushing this stuff. And like I said, I don't know the exact solution, but I do know it needs called out.
I understand
something needs addressed. I don't know what it is. Like, when I talk about misinformation, then you can get to the question of, oh, who's the judge general, who's the arbiter? I don't know.
So what information specifically that bugs you? Like, okay, there's a difference between like misinformation and then, I guess disinformation, something that's a little bit more malicious. There have been plenty of times where I've come on my channel and I've been like, hey, there's this scoop here, or this happened, or here's this news. And I'm like, 2 videos later, I'm like, hey guys, I fucked up. It wasn't a reliable source. This happened.
Well, that's good.
That was technically me spreading misinformation, right?
Well, I mean, that's good, but you corrected the record, so... Yeah.
So as long as they correct the record, you're okay?
Yeah, listen, if they were spreading misinformation, then like an episode, like a video or 2 later said, "Fuck, I fucked up, guys. I'm sorry. Here's the correct record." Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
That should be pretty based on their part. Yeah.
And I agree, but I want to know what kind of misinformation you're specifically talking about. That's kind of where I'm at here.
Okay, I didn't come with a list ready to go, but
no, but you've done it a lot. Give me a couple examples, because I think you're equating misinformation into information that I don't necessarily agree with. When because a lot of what I saw is opinion based.
All right, so how about so we already brought it up, so it's fresh in my mind. How about the fact that anytime a woman or a minority is cast in a role you may not expect, it's always called diversity hire?
It's always, but diversity hire is a pejorative, right? That's what you would. I would say that's more of somebody being an asshole. We don't know.
I mean, they aren't unrelated. I would usually classify bigots as assholes.
Yeah, I would too. But I also am, I unfortunately pro free speech to a fault, maybe. And maybe that's where the disconnect is here. Where I think I would rather, let me ask you this. Wouldn't you rather know who the assholes are?
Yeah, no, like there is that to a degree. Like, you know,
Right.
when I go by the street and I see somebody flying a Confederate flag, I'm like, oh, hey, asshole.
Not gonna talk to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not gonna have beers with this dude.
To a degree, that's good. But like on social media, what we found is that, or what I've seen, essentially, like what these people have done is found online places to all propagate, and then all of a sudden they think their views are the correct ones, and they push those hard. If you dare to pierce that bubble, oh boy, you're gonna get a whole bunch of hate coming your way for simply correcting the record.
Sure. And it sucks, and I've been there. But I also know those are those people's opinion, and that's maybe where I see the disconnect. You guys had like a thing to fill out if you'd ever been. It was super weird, like collecting information if you've ever been bullied by the Fandom Menace.
Yeah.
Isn't that a little like overstepping? These are just.
Well, I mean,
do you actually? You know what? This is a better question. Do you think that they are responsible for their audience?
Audience control is a kind of a nebulous thing. I do think a lot of them drive their audience because I've seen it happen. So, like, do they have 100% control of their audience? Absolutely not. But do some of them weaponize their audience? Absolutely.
Right, and I would say the Ethan Van Skywers of the world know how to weaponize their audience. But I can't say that I've ever seen many of them. Like, I've specifically, and all of the people in the chat will know, I don't like the Quartering, got no love for him, cannot stand him as a content creator. The only thing I respect is when he, like, he'll be like, okay, this YouTuber got demonetized, go check him out, they got deplatformed, something along those lines. That's cool, but the rest, people will know. He specifically, many times I have heard him say, do not send hate to this person. So why is it his fault when you get comments for correcting him?
Okay, so the Quartering is actually somebody I'm less familiar with. I have covered him, but not a whole lot. He's kind of dreadfully boring. Okay. I will, out of curiosity, like, would you equate, like, what we do to the Quartering at all?
Would I equate what?
What we do to what the Quartering does?
No, I can stand your content.
Okay, excellent.
But in the same sentence, he covers news at Marvel, whereas you don't. I've seen him cover, even if he's misleading, because everything can be misleading, right? You can say that this was we had Guardians of Galaxy kind of underperform. It's not bad. It's not like they're making it out to be. But framing it like they're making it like it's a go broke, bro, type of thing.
Okay, so
they can frame it that way because it underperformed a little bit, and you can. And I've seen you guys frame it that it's the second best of this year or something.
It literally had.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it literally had the third best second weekend of the MCU ever.
Right, and that's great. That movie was great. It deserves it.
Oh yeah, it was phenomenal.
But you both frame things in how you want your narrative spun. You see what I'm saying?
So, sure, but like, what essentially they're like, I think, well, Guardians, I don't think is going to be a flop whatsoever, but let's go to something else they called a flop. Avatar 2. They were calling Avatar 2 a flop, and that movie overperformed massively.
I've never seen Avatar 1. So
okay.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, it doesn't.
I'll take your word for it. I do remember something along that lines happening. But that's also what I think most of the people know. Especially, I would say the most nefarious one is probably Yellow Flash, oh
Yeah.
my God, this is so bad.
Mhm.
It failed already. And then once it performs well, it's like, got those wokies. Like,
Yeah.
it's the
Oh, yeah,
dumbest
they do
shit
that
I've
all
ever
the time.
seen.
Actually, like, I guess to clear up our position when it comes to box office stuff, like, our position is like, okay, here's the numbers. It looks okay, you know, it's looking fine. Whereas they're call it a flop usually before it even comes out, which,
For sure.
yeah, and that's more where our problem is. Our problem, because to call something a flop, you usually have to wait and see. Like, probably the clearest flop we had recently would be Shazam 2. That was pretty much a fairly objective flop. But a lot of the other stuff, it's kind of like, I don't know if I'd call it a flop.
They're using what I mentioned earlier, and that's emotionally charged languages. It's exactly what you do, but their demographic is black-pilled people, whereas yours is leftist. So there is a difference there, right? But you're doing the same thing.
So again, like, essentially they're calling things flops before we have any chance to know they're a flop, and we're essentially saying, here's the statistics we know. You know, and if you want to talk about like thumbnails and names like that, we will sometimes do clickbaity shit just because they're going crazy. So we'll go ahead and do a reverse perspective. We will do that occasionally. I will admit to that. But that
For
being
sure.
said, to actually judge if something's a flop, you usually have to wait a little bit. All we do when we analyze it is to actually look at the numbers, be like, hey, this is how this is doing. Like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I think was like the third or second biggest February opening of all time, something like that. Now, of course, these guys aren't going to talk about that.
Right, of course not, because you can frame everything for your narrative. Like, and I don't even have an issue with that. Again, my main issue lies with you guys with the idea of this Fandom Initiative, because I thought it was a good idea and you guys dropped the ball so hard. It's not even about fandom. It's a cookie cutter of your other channels. It's dunking on chuds or whatever you want to say. It's not about fandom. It was never about fandom.
Okay, so, I mean, that seems to be the crux of the whole conversation, that you are just not really happy with exactly the content we cover on the Initiative channel. Which, I mean, that's fine. But also understand the Initiative was essentially Dane, myself, and Turf coming together. And essentially, our goal was to kind of do, like, a stream where we cover a lot of this stuff that we've already covered. Yeah, and I mean, an argument can be made it's about fandom, because we're pointing out a lot of the faulty arguments these guys do when they're attacking this stuff. So, I mean, you could definitely argue it's about the fandom in that
I also
respect.
have an issue with you thinking people are so dumb. Like, there was one part in your there was one part in your mission statement video, and I took a lot from that simply because I didn't want to like feel like I was attacking all of your content, right? I didn't want you to think that I was attacking everything that you had to say. But you say in that video, the people who watch this content are getting trained to believe. These people have their own minds. Those people, a lot of the times, pick that content because they agree with them.
All right, so, do you want to know the number of I'll be blunt. A lot of these people absolutely just regurgitate the things these guys say. Do you know how many people I've had to block in my comments who just talk about Tyrone? Do you know about that situation?
Is that a Marvel thing?
No. Okay, so you don't know about that situation. So after my discussion with Eric July, which was very pleasant and very nice, he went on for 2 hours and talked about how I don't have any contact with my kids and how Tyrone is raising my kids. That is what he said.
That's horrible.
Yes, and so I got literally thousands of comments well, I don't know if there are thousands specifically about Tyrone, but like at least hundreds talking about Tyrone. Just, hey, how's Tyrone? Hey, you know, you should pay attention to your kids, you know, crap like that. Yeah, no, it was awful. But yeah, this is that's kind of their tactic. I mean, Eric July after that 100% called me a groomer, and yeah, and essentially accused me of being an absent father.
That's fucking ridiculous. That's fucking ridiculous. But that doesn't mean that they didn't. Okay, here's the issue: is they're playing my sports or my side versus your side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I'm pro free speech, because of what you just said. You knew all those people were asshats very easily.
Yeah.
It was easy to block them,
Well,
and it was,
yeah,
it
no,
sucks.
I did block a lot of them, but the whole point is that he essentially told them the narrative, and they just ran with it straight to my channel.
Okay.
Is that saying he definitely has an influence?
So you're
over
saying
them.
that? Of course, that's why it's called influencer. But that doesn't make the audience dumb, right? That's why I'm totally on board with debunking without insulting, because you look. I am not a person to talk about class. I have the mouth of a sailor, but
it's fine. So do I.
it's an issue of, if you debunk the idea, not the person, you're gonna cause less animosity, and you get more flies with honey than with vinegar, right? And the way that you guys are going about this is just throwing vinegar all over the place. You're not going to change any hearts and mind by making these videos. And I know I'm a hypocrite.
I mean,
I know I am.
If you want to say we need to do a bit more diversity of tactics, then I am in 100% agreement.
Not only that, but I think you guys have a good idea. I think you do. I think there's an idea there underneath this, but claiming that YouTubers are causing physical violence out there in the real world without any actual evidence of doing such, claiming that the audience is kind of maybe not the smartest. Well, I can say it because I'm not claiming to be a ambassador of fandom, claiming that they're fucking stupid. Yeah, I don't think they are. I think I've had a lot of good conversations. I have a lot of right-wingers on my channel. Mind you, I respect their religion. I respect their ideas. And I do think that they also have come to understand mine. And that's the difference here. You got to have conversations with people that don't just agree with you. You got to have the conversations that are kind of hard sometimes.
So do you think
you got to understand,
like
even if you go back to
conversations?
Huh?
I mean, I'm a little confused because I'm open to conversations even if people disagree with me.
Then start having them. Then start learning from people that you disagree with, that they're not just all bigots. Do you understand? Here is...
Well, I will tell you this.
The idea of...
Because part of, when I stumbled into this, part of it, there was a part of me going, God, is there any validity to these guys' arguments? Anything at all? Is there anything where I can not call this bigotry? Not a whole lot. Maybe occasionally, but, when 99% of it's bigotry, it doesn't really... The other 1% doesn't
hold
matter.
on. Let me give you an example. I had a really great guest on named Chillmonger, and he was talking about representation. I've always been... or for at least the last few years, been pro-representation. I think it's a good thing out there, but he hates race swaps because it's temporary representation. It always goes back to white, right? It always goes back to white. We got Little Mermaid now. She'll go back to white eventually. Got this, it'll go back to white. I understand why Black people don't want hand-me-down characters, but you would look at that as bigoted. It's okay to have both opinions.
Okay, so again, if it kind of depends on the context. That by itself, I actually don't it's not a view I agree with, but I don't know if I'd call that bigoted by itself.
So the issue is temporary representation. That's what I'm telling you. Like T'Challa not being recast when they recast a white actor. When you get
that was actually kind of funny because they started yelling about that after the film had already been shot. It was like, it's not happening, guys.
No, it wasn't going to happen. But that they started a long time ago. There's been especially Chillmonger has been at the very forefront, made not hundreds, I'm being hyperbolic, but it been at the forefront of recasting T'Challa because that is a great male lead. That is the best black male lead in Marvel. That was a cultural phenomenon that they decided to push to the side, right? They decided to, instead of recasting, go to Shuri, and I'm sure it'll go back to status quo. We'll get little T'Challa, and that's fine. But the issue is, those kind of opinions should be welcome too if you want to represent fandom. Those kind, some black people don't want hand-me-downs.
All right, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that by itself isn't enough for me to really call out anybody, because I think I watched a video from people essentially saying that, and I was like, I can understand that. I don't really agree, but I understand where you're coming from. Because I know there's been, you can talk about how maybe black people don't want hand-me-downs, but I've also seen black people who love stuff like that. So at the end of the day, that type of stuff seems kind of like a wash to me.
So let me ask you a question. Because I don't know how familiar you are with me, but I started off in Comicsgate. I claim temporary insanity. Or actually, here's the thing. It meant something different back then. Right? It was about quality and professionalism, where now it's just about women. Women are bad. Okay. I'm being a bit over dramatic.
I was kind of pro Gamergate when that first started too. So like it's
so you can understand but that learning process is something that we all need to go through, right? We all need to understand that we can change. So would you say 4 years is enough for a change? You think somebody could change in 4 years, right?
I'm not sure what you're talking about, but potentially, sure.
Okay. Why is it a gotcha to put a video of Eric July from 4 years ago saying he liked Miles Morales, when clearly he's not even reading comics now, and that was some sort of big deal?
Well, don't you think it's interesting how his position has changed pretty drastically since then?
I think he's probably it looks like he's given up everything media related.
Well, his position changed about the time he got a job at the Blaze.
I have no idea when he started working for the Blaze. See, here's the thing. I don't care this intently. My heart lies with comics, video games, the media that you guys are saying that you love and you want to put out there. I don't give a shit about Eric July and when he started the Blaze. I'm saying in 4 years, somebody's opinion could change. And now he's doing his own thing. And whether or not you like him or not, and I have had a debate with Eric July, we are fine now, but we clearly don't have love for each other, right?
Okay,
but he successfully crowdfunded a campaign. He did his own thing. He's in his own bubble. And you guys are going, where's ISOM 2? Where's this? Where's that? Where's that? This is what I don't get.
Well, don't you think it's
Why
weird
not? Why aren't you reviewing comic books that are coming out now instead of talking about where's ISOM 2?
Well, part of our point is to point out, do you think ISOM sold because it was a comic book that people really wanted?
No, I think it was YouTuber merch.
Yeah, it was YouTuber merch.
I think some people wanted it.
I'm sure there were, but it was primarily people buying into an ideology that Eric July is preaching, whatever. That's what ISOM really was at the end of the day. And like I've said this before, if all Eric July did was make ISOM and talk about ISOM, more power to him. Great, that's wonderful. You know, he got a comic book, it sold a whole book. Good for him. That's good for him. But like, that is not what he does on his YouTube. Like, if you want to talk about saying terrible stuff on YouTube, like, look at his YouTube channel. It is atrocious. He went after the trans. Well, he's gone after trans people just for that trans flag scene, and pretty much any opportunity he gets, he does. He throws around homophobic slurs like nobody's business. Like, he's pretty bad.
Here's the thing. Here's what this all comes back to. Freedom of speech.
All right.
Lets me know that he is a douchebag. And I don't want anything to do with him.
Okay.
And why would I take his opinions when he is not even consuming the media? Like when he defended Ryan Cannell, right?
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Yeah.
That was really silly to me because he hadn't even seen the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make sense. But he's allowed to be a fan in his way, just like you're allowed to be a fan in your way.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why, if you're making this ambassador of fandom, why you're not actually fucking caring about the fans.
Why do you think we're not caring about the fans?
Because you don't. This is the.
So, like, do you think
I think it's a good idea. I feel like I keep coming back to this.
Yeah, I feel like
idea.
I feel like you feel like the only way to support fandom is to talk about stuff we love exclusively.
What?
I feel like you seem to be proposing the only way to support fandom is to talk about stuff we love exclusively.
No. I talk about stuff I hate all the time.
Okay.
But you're not talking about anything but Eric July and Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker.
Well, I mean, if you don't want to go to the podcast, that's fine. If you're going to just stick to my main channel, then yeah, like I said, I'm starting a new series called Celebrating Fandom where we're just going to be... I mean, that series is going to take longer to do. It's a lot easier to do a video like exposing these guys for their bigotry or their misinformation than it is to do an essay. But yeah, I'm going to start doing that, and we're going to start doing more stuff on the initiative. So, like, if you're looking for that type of content, it's coming.
Okay. I just don't see the point of doxing people, of calling people racist slurs,
again,
and then
like
pretending to be
we're talking like
pro
I can send
fandom
you
all in the same sense. I think it's really like it's really hypocritical, and I was rooting for you guys, and honestly, what I think is if there is any like this massive political ideology on both sides completely has tainted fandom in society right now. Because if there is a race swap, you guys are like, yay, race swap, look, representation. And if there's a race swap, they're like, oh my God, it's woke. It's always the same thing with you guys, and it's so predictable.
Okay, so I mean, you support do you support diversity and inclusion and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's good. So do we. Like lots of times when we're talking about lots of the swaps and stuff like that, however you want to phrase it, for me it's, you just have to see what the final product is. Like if they do it and they sucks, typically the reason why it sucks has nothing to do with them doing anything like that, though. It might have to do with writing or something like that.
Sure, and I can agree to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I kind of hate that we're having any disagreements because I feel like there might be a lot. I feel like we probably have more agreements than disagreements overall.
Right,
but,
right,
yeah,
and I agree.
But yeah, essentially, I mean, yeah, you could argue they're using their freedom of speech to talk about stuff their way. Absolutely. Sure. But then, like, I also have my freedom of speech that I can use to call out the stuff they're doing.
For sure. And again, I don't disagree with that. What I disagree with is the advocation for fandoms that you guys clearly don't give a shit about. Like, I'm not saying you don't in your personal life, but the problem is you're just as guilty as them. You're using the idea of outrage to sell a brand. You're using the idea of your politics versus their politics, whereas they're bigot, so I've got the moral high ground. I don't know all the answers. I'll never know all the answers.
No, none of us do.
I can only believe in being a decent person and live and let live. But I will never tell you I'll probably call you a bigot or an asshole or something like that. But the thing is I don't know the answers.
No,
and we
none
can't,
of us do. Yeah.
But you pretend like you do. Just by calling them political groomers, you're pretending like you do.
Well, I mean, they do target lots of teenagers with their stuff, and that is an issue.
They target teenagers? I have never heard that before.
Yeah, no, that'd be their primary audience.
Oh, you can't be serious. You think they're trying to make videos for teenagers? Like, I don't even like these people, and you're making me defend terrible people. Come on now.
Do you think they don't? Who do you think their primary audience is? Who do you think their key demographic is?
Grown-ass men in their 30s that grew up on Marvel Comics.
Well, I mean, they have that, too.
That's their primary audience. Where the hell? I've never seen them cover teenage topics.
Oh, well, no. Their primary topic would be teenage men. Like, that. Lots of teenage men are into comic book stuff.
What?
Lots of teenage men are into comic book stuff.
Okay. If you look at the breakdown of demographics that come out after every single Marvel movie, it's usually 35 to 44 male, about 50 to 56%. That is not teenage. Like,
I'd have to wonder
that was way out of left field.
When do they, like, you're talking about when do they get those numbers? Do they survey people? What?
Yeah, they always survey people. Grace Randolph almost exclusively always has the demographic breaks down. I think it's either on Movie Math or her live streams.
Okay, so are you saying they aren't going after a teenage male audience then?
I
mean, comic books
I'm
appeal
not
to
saying
teenagers.
that they are targeting. They are not targeting them specifically. If they were going like, hey, look at this new Demon Slayer episode, or look at this new One Piece, sure, maybe. But in no way, shape, or form have I ever thought of them as going after teenagers.
I mean, when did you get into comic books?
When I was 8, but teenagers aren't reading comics nowadays. We see that by the sales number. Unfortunately, they're reading manga.
Okay. I mean, it's definitely teenagers who will have an interest in that type of stuff. It's
sure, there is a small amount, and it's a minority. You said they were targeting teenagers.
You don't think... Geeks and Gamers... Did you know Geeks and Gamers actually has a channel dedicated just for, like, doing, like, reviews of
weebs
children's...
and waifus or something? Yeah, well, but it's not teenage-oriented.
No, they have a channel dedicated towards specifically children. It's, like, theme park ride reviews. And there's nothing political in that one, but it has a link to the Geeks and Gamers website.
They have a kid channel? What's it called?
Let me see if I can dig it up.
And you just literally said it's not political, so what's the issue?
Well, I just said they're okay,
covering what topics?
They have a channel called Park Hoppin'. This is a channel pretty much dedicated for kids, essentially. It's a kids channel. It's called Park Hoppin', Geeks and Gamers. And this channel itself, if you're wondering, there's actually nothing objectionable in this channel, but it's got links to Geeks and Gamers all over the place.
So what's the issue?
It's got links to Geeks and Gamers all over the place.
Back to their main channel. This is definitely not targeted towards. Hold on, I'll share my screen. How is this? In what way, shape, or form is this targeted to kids?
Okay,
this is them having fun at the parks. It looks like.
You don't think that's kid content?
No, that would be more for their fans already. This is literally just their brand all over. You're anti-Florida. Like, this is just their same shit all over again. And they're talking about discounts for prices. That would be more parents than anything.
It's
a blog? Okay,
guess,
so it's a blog.
Yeah, I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one. I think it's pretty blatantly, it's targeting kids, talking about all these cool theme park rides and stuff like that. And then one simple click, and all of a sudden you're on Geeks and Gamers.
Okay, well, that's fine. It looks like it's a blog. It looks like it's just part of their brand. I don't know how that is targeted towards children. I would say it is exactly, most of what we've seen come out of that channel is not for children. Nor should it be age gated either. You can't, you gotta let the parents parent, right?
Well, true, but I mean, if you want to argue that these guys aren't targeting children, then maybe they should age gate it.
So then your stuff should be age gated too, right? Because you're covering them.
I mean, that's their argument. That's not my argument.
That was literally just your argument.
No, I'm not. I wasn't stating my argument. I was stating. So, like, you're saying that they aren't targeting kids with this stuff, and my argument is, well, if they aren't targeting kids, why don't they age gate it? If that's something they don't want to do, then why don't they age gate it?
Why should they have to age gate? I don't age gate my content, and I cuss like a fucking sailor.
I'm not saying it's. I don't know. I think this is a. I'm not sure if this is gonna go anywhere, and I think that's.
I'm not sure you're.
I think it's unfortunate.
I think you've talked yourself into a corner here.
I think it's weird that you don't think that's targeted to children, but okay. But again, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get anywhere. But like, it's unfortunate because I feel like there's a lot of issues we agree on, and maybe over time you'll be a bit more on board with the Fandom Initiative, with future projects, because like I said, this stuff takes time. I work full time. I am struggling to get stuff out. It is but yes. I mean, I did appreciate talking to you. I just wish we could come to a bit more of an agreement. But like I said, I think as time goes on, you might see a bit more of what we're angling towards, and maybe even agree a bit more. But yeah, I just think it's unfortunate we have really any noteworthy disagreement at this point.
I think it's unfortunate that my biggest issue, my biggest issue, and I think you guys also, not so much you, definitely Dane acts like a moral superiority, and I have a real big issue with that. I want everybody to feel welcome, whether you're trans, white, cis. I don't fucking care if you're an alien.
I want everyone to feel welcome, except if they're going to be spreading bigotry.
So what's your answer? Just block them and move along? Wouldn't you rather have a conversation with somebody, sort of give them your opinion, maybe educate them a little?
I don't object to having conversations, but 99% of the time when I have them, they go nowhere.
Wait, what'd you say?
99% of the time when I talk to these guys, it goes nowhere.
I've had the exact opposite experience. I have a lot of really good people
excellent. That's
that
excellent.
understand my opinion, but also I have people that don't even agree that marriage between a man and a man should be legal. But we've come to agreements. Yes, it doesn't mean they're fucking evil. It means they don't understand.
Well, I mean,
different things.
Sounds
That's where
to me.
learn.
I mean, it sounds to me like they're being very ignorant, if nothing else. But
right,
like,
and what is ignorant? It's a lack of knowledge, right?
Yes,
it's a lack of understanding.
Yes.
So if you're just gonna push them away, they're never gonna understand.
Okay, so like
you're simply
so
fueling
you need
the
to
fire.
understand there's gonna be a difference though. Like if they just believe that, but they keep it to themselves and they don't like shit on people for, you know, marrying who they love, then okay, cool. Like that's fine. But like if you're gonna be out there like saying bigoted or homophobic shit to people, then you're not welcome in my community.
Again, think you need to look within, not yourself, but you've had some, like I would say calling a black man an Uncle Tom is super bigoted.
I mean,
I know you don't agree with it, but it's not something I would ever feel comfortable saying.
You are aware there's a movie titled Uncle Tom. I mean, if it's so bad, why would there be a movie named after that?
So you're defending it?
I mean, it's not inaccurate. No.
Holy shit! Okay. You just defended it. I didn't expect that.
I mean, do you know what that term means?
Of course I do. Of course I do. And I would never insinuate that someone's opinions are invalid.
Okay. Like, so, like, if someone's actually saying bigoted stuff...
That is bigoted, and you just defended it.
How is that bigoted?
Really? Oh my God. Okay. Like, this is the same thing. Do you understand what you're saying right now?
Like, yeah, you need to explain how that's bigoted.
To call somebody an Uncle Tom? Because you're saying you are subservient. You are an obedient to the white person. That's not bigoted at all.
That's not quite what that term has come to mean. But
exactly what that means. That is exactly what that means.
I feel like you're redefining it a bit. Uncle Tom is...
Look it up.
Uncle Tom is primarily a person... well, I mean, specifically, it would be a black person who speaks against... black.
A black... Okay, here's the literal definition. A black man considered to be excessively obedient and servile to a white person. And you just defended it. Okay.
I mean, again, like, do you defend a lot of the terrible things Eric July says?
No, of course not.
Okay. I mean...
But I don't offend when you guys say terrible things, too. Have you ever seen me defend a terrible thing that Eric July said?
No. But, I mean, I feel like you are right now. You're defending him. I mean, you're talking about a guy who works for the Blaze. Essentially, he does whatever Glenn Blake tells him to do, or whoever's in charge of the Blaze right now. That's his job.
You are only responsible for you, and you just defended calling someone an Uncle Tom.
I mean...
There's got to be some agency in that.
Okay. I mean, I'll own it.
It's odd. It's odd. Especially when you say you're the one, that they're the one that say anything bad about when a black person's on the screen. But when a real black person tells his opinions, and I think his opinions are cringe as hell.
I mean, do you really
think call him an Uncle Tom?
Do you really think that's all his opinions? Because I don't think they are.
whose opinions are they? You think that they're grifts?
Oh,
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm pretty sure he gets a lot of his opinions from the Blaze. That's part of his job.
So you think it's a top-down thing?
A lot of it, yeah.
Didn't you guys also go through that article from Rewriting Ripley that went and connected YouTubers to like Steve Bannon and shit?
Yeah.
It was in your mission statement video.
Yeah.
Couldn't I do the same to you guys? Like, okay, well, you know, Dane had on Amazing Atheist, who I like a lot, but that means he's connected to this person because they follow them on Twitter, and that means they're connected to Nancy Pelosi. Like, do you realize?
Okay,
what
so
a terrible
like,
article that was.
I would never ever defend everything Amazing Atheist has done. That being said,
Well, yeah.
I mean, when we're talking about those connections, it's not as fragile as, oh, he was a guest on the show once.
But you literally did that with, like, the Fandom Menace when they had guests on. Like, I don't remember the crazy guy's name.
You mean Gavin McGinnis?
Maybe.
Okay, so
I
like
think it was Alex something.
Alex Jones?
Yeah, he was a guest on there.
So, like, we can't really compare someone like the Amazing Atheist, who I will say has said things that I disagree with, and has.
Oh no,
said
I like
stuff.
the Amazing Atheist.
Yeah, I would actually say overall I like him.
You
but
don't
he's
have to
definitely
defend him.
things.
I think he's done a lot of
but
good work
that being
lately.
said, you're equating that to someone like Alex Jones, who.
No, I'm not. I'm saying you're saying I can't connect them because he's only been on there once.
Okay, but you need to understand they know who these people are. Like, do you think they have on Alex Jones and Gavin McGinnis and don't know who they are?
What? Of course. How else would they make a connection?
Okay,
Just
so they bring them on knowing who they are and they're fine with it. I mean, don't you think that's a bit of an issue? And it's not like they're hitting them on this stuff. They didn't hit Gavin McGinnis on Proud Boys. They didn't hit Alex Jones on the fact that he lied about parents who lost their children.
Of course not. Of course not. Of course they're not going to. You know those type of people.
But they will still have them on.
To say that that it's different connecting, it's the same thing. Just because you have on a person.
You're equating Amazing Atheist to these guys?
Oh my God. Here, see, this is exactly what you did earlier. Exactly what you did earlier.
You don't understand that's what you're doing. That's what you're
doing.
when
No, it's absolutely not. You're putting intentions that I never said.
But that's literally what you're saying, though.
I brought up the Rewriting Ripley article.
Yes.
That was terribly done, that you guys use as evidence, just like you use the weird pedo guy in Social Blade as evidence for your narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I could connect Dane because he had on Amazing Atheist, and then you can keep going up because you said it was top down. You said Eric July didn't have his own opinions. He was getting them from the Blaze.
Well, I do know some of his opinions changed when he got hired for the Blaze. It's noteworthy. And,
we can assume.
I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying that's noteworthy.
We can't know for sure.
No, I'm not saying I know for sure, but I am saying that's noteworthy.
It is noteworthy, sure. But we cannot put intentions on. And you've done that to me twice now. Trying to put intentions that weren't there to frame me.
But that's I mean, you need to understand that's what you were saying.
No, it absolutely was not. It absolutely was not.
I mean, your argument was that they have on Gavin McGinnis and Alex Jones, but that's the same as Dane having on Amazing Atheist.
I said the connection. I never said it was the same. Never once.
I mean, when you look at this stuff, you have to look at like who exactly they're letting on and why. Like,
sure.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory at this point.
Sure, it is. But you said that he gets his opinions from somebody else without any evidence.
Again, I'm not saying that's definitely what happens. I'm just saying it's noteworthy that his opinions changed once he got a new job.
So you think that's why it's okay to call him an Uncle Tom?
I love how you guys you guys. I don't want to clump you with these guys. I don't think this is going. I don't want you to be an enemy. I don't. And I think we agree on more than we disagree.
We do, but you can't allow racism just because you don't like the person.
Racism. Well,
If you're
it's
against
not
racism,
racist, though.
you got to be against it for everybody.
That's
Black, white,
not
alien,
it,
I
though.
don't care.
That's not it, though.
But that's exactly what that was. That was a racist pejorative.
No, the only people, like, that's the thing. I think, Tristan, you need to look at the people you listen to. That's why I'm seeing a lot. You're pulling lots of stuff from sources that are questionable at best. It's
Where?
not great.
Where?
Well, I mean,
I'm giving you my opinion. I called you out on your sources,
I
and
mean,
you said
you were
my sources are bad.
Well, I mean, you were calling that guy a pedophile who works for the Independent, actively, I should add. And so, yeah, I think there need to be some solid evidence on that one.
I can give it to you. That's not an issue.
Okay. It needs to be more than a shoe head video. That's definitely something. But yeah, I feel like you're listening to a lot of the wrong sources, and I think a lot of our agreements would actually get resolved.
I should be listening to what you're listening to?
I mean, I'll tell you right now, the most reliable sources for stuff in general, like if you're not sure, for general news, you're looking at Reuters and AP. For Hollywood entertainment news, you're probably looking at like Deadline, Variety.
Like you literally in one of your videos called the Direct a chud.
Oh yeah,
outlet.
the Direct's pretty bad.
You can't be serious.
Yeah.
The Direct.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah, they've misrepresented lots of stuff.
You mean they've clickbaited stuff?
Well, it's not just clickbaiting. They've misrepresented a lot of stuff.
Like, you can't really think. When I think of a terrible news source, I think of Bounding into Comics, but you literally called the Direct a chud source. And you're telling me my sources are bad when I've caught you in many terrible sources.
Well, I'm not sure what terrible sources you caught me in, but hold on.
You literally use Social Blade.
Again, I'm not sure.
So what other sources, because I haven't actually used any, I've given you my opinion, what of my sources are bad?
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Well, what of your, like, again, I haven't, like, a lot of your sources I haven't even heard of.
No, you said it. You said my sources are bad.
Well, I mean, I will say, like, that one source you showed me read a lot, or at least looked a lot like a Boundings in Comics thing. It wasn't, but, like...
It wasn't.
Yeah,
so
I mean, just the headline is super salacious. I mean, yeah, here's the Direct talking about...
Like, you can't make a claim and then not back it up.
Again, like, you're using sources I've never even heard before. And they're posting
like
stuff
what?
that's
I
very
haven't showed you any
suspicious.
sources.
I mean, when you were... Again, I don't think we're going to get anywhere.
Because you can't back up what you just said about me. That's the issue here.
We can
you said
go
my sources are bad.
We can go
when
through
most of what I just said was opinionated.
I mean, we can. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's opinion, but based on bad sources. And I think we would agree a lot more.
You don't know any of my bad sources.
Well, that's the thing.
Because I didn't give you any.
No, but I've already seen. Like, what would you consider the most reliable news websites?
As far as what? There's different types of news.
Well, I mean, just give me a couple reliable examples or entertainment. Give me what do you consider the most reliable entertainment website?
Probably Hollywood Reporter and them.
That's not bad. So do you cite them frequently?
So, if I cite, yeah.
What would you
say? What else
say?
would I cite?
Well, what would be your most cited source that you use when you cover stuff?
For what? I do reviews. I play video games. What do you want my sources on?
Well, I mean, I think this is just
I
interesting.
do fandom. That's my biggest issue with you is you putting so much of your left-wing politics into fandom instead of just enjoying it for what it is.
Well, I mean, we do.
So you're trying
And
to
like
say
I
my
said,
sources are bad when I haven't shown any. This
well,
makes no sense.
You've shown some. Essentially, you showed Shoe on Head and Facebook because you didn't even know the news outlet.
I didn't show Facebook. It was right on there, and I clicked on it.
Well, true, but you said it was under Facebook. You didn't actually know the name of the outlet, which is
Well, don't worry. Don't worry. I sent you the video, and all of the sources are there.
Okay,
It's very
fantastic.
easy. I can show
Fantastic.
everyone. I've got 4W Pub Protasia, and they're normalizing pedophilia, and I've got protasia.info. I've got a web archive. I've got whatever you like. All of my sources are perfect.
Okay.
So what sources would you like?
Well, no. What I'm just noting is the fact that you seem to take a lot from like Shoe on Head and something you read off Facebook. You seem to take that to heart, and
I'm not
I can
even
understand.
Do you
but,
not realize? Oh my God. I'm not on Facebook. It came up in my search.
Okay. But
So, what sources? Again, I think you said
again,
something dumb and cannot realize it.
Again, I think we would agree a lot more than this if it just seems like you're getting your information from questionable sources. That's all I'm saying.
So, I think you would probably agree with this site more. If you want a good source, feminist writing fourth wave for women. Protasia's goal to normalize pedophilia.
I've not heard of this.
Noah
website.
Bertlatsky. Pedophiles are essentially a stigmatized group, but I'm using bad sources.
All right. So again, just because a bad, like I said, I don't even know this website, so maybe it's a fine source. But like, again, just
any excuse.
Okay.
This is literally a tweet directly from him.
Yeah. No, and I'm not supporting anything that there's. Okay. What? Yeah. No, I don't support that. That's a bad tweet at the very least.
All you had to say was I didn't know who that person was. There's no sense in defending terrible behavior.
Didn't. What I was saying. I had to research him right here live on stream.
Right. You said my sources were bad. So what else was bad?
Listen, I think this is gonna take more than a stream, but listen. It's kind of frustrating because I do think we agree more than we disagree. But maybe over time you will come to see things a bit more our way, or maybe over time we will come to see things a bit more your way. We actually obviously aren't locked up in sync 100%, but I don't know. I mean, thank you for your time.
No problem. I appreciate you having conversation with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Have a good rest of your day.
I hope you guys start doing actual fan content. I think where,
like I said, we're working on it. We've done some, but we're gonna do more.
All right.
All right. Have a good one.
Thanks. You too.
I guess I'm still on stream. Let me go ahead and be quiet here while I click on stuff. No, I kind of hold on real quick. but yeah, no. Details. But yeah, that whole thing was. I almost want to say it wasn't frustrating, but I do feel like she's obviously getting like her sources were very spotty at best when I actually asked her to cover stuff, and it's obvious like she's reading into this stuff, and taking it more seriously than she should. But yeah, let's give me one moment here. Let me check out something. Actually, here I'll go to opening titles real fast, but I will be back.
What's going on? Oh, that's my noise. Never mind.
Hold on. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Yeah, I know. I was asking if you wanted me to come on and talk, and yeah, and then I was like, oh, well, I'll just stop in and mute things on my end. But then I was in. But okay. Yeah, that's.
We can talk. I don't know. Love you. Not you. I mean, that's my girlfriend leaving.
I love you too.
Well, we can talk, man. I have feelings. And
I'm sure you would. Yes.
Keeping them organized. Trying to my best anyway. My girlfriend was helping with that right before it went live. I'm supposed to be doing a forced adversity stream right now.
Oh shit!
But because of this, I was too fucking livid. I can't focus on that. Like,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail another one of your streams. I've done it twice now.
No, well, I mean, you know, and look, there's stuff we could talk about that. I don't know if we should do that on stream, but like, I'm kind of just not a fan of how things happened, in general, because it just, yeah, I don't know. We can talk about that another time, I guess. But like, yeah, so I titled this stream, Why Nerdette's Newsstand Doesn't Comprehend the Initiative, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because everything she's saying is coming from a place of like,
well,
either ignorance or just undeveloped fucking sense of ethics and morality.
Yes.
And there's no arguing or nothing you can explain that can get through to somebody like that. You know,
true.
Like why? And I don't know why. Here's my thing. I don't think we need to be in a position to defend ourselves to people like that. I don't think we need to accept that as the stance, right? Because what did she end up ultimately having? A bunch of bullshit.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, no, it reminded me of a lot of the centrist stuff I've been dealing with more recently. Well,
let's not fucking forget, right? That she, up until they fucking turned on her and doxed her and harassed her and shit, she was all in on Comicsgate. Only when it became a personal fucking problem for her did she fucking start somewhat getting, a little bit more in the center of things. And she clearly still isn't completely, right? She, notice how she mentioned, well, yeah, EVS is blah, 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 but not, it's like, so it's only when it involves her directly to even give a fuck. She has no fucking morals. She has self-preservation. That's what she's operating from. And until Jeremy Griggs fucks her over, until Nerdrotic fucks her over or something like that, she's going to run defense for them. And but as soon as they do, then she'll be like, oh, they're so terrible. Because she has no fucking developed sense of morality, man. She's just fucking clickbait bullshitter. Good. I hope she does. I hope she does, because look, here's another thing. The reason that she came to you to talk to you about this stuff is because she knows I won't talk to her, and she knows that I have a valid reason not to talk to her. Because we tried being friendly like a couple of years ago or whatever, right? And I did a stream, went on her stream. I thought it went pretty well, even though despite the fact that she has people like iMega Arts as mods in her chat, if anybody is on Twitter and familiar with anything Comicsgate on there, you know about him, and that's kind of sus, man. Nonetheless, I thought it went pretty well. And then I don't know, down the road at some point, I covered Andy Signor, and I talked about the objective facts of him being accused of certain different types of unfavorable, let's say, attempts toward women. And then I even mentioned how one of them had been, shown to not be as bad as was made out, but that still wasn't good enough, because at that time she was a big fan of his. And so she was suddenly in my fucking comments melting down about how I'm just the same thing as the quartering, but on the other side. And, the blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I said that, I don't remember what I said, but I was like, that's fucking stupid. I don't know how you can defend that or whatever. And she was like, well, how about I tell people that you were being creepy in emails with me or whatever. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So her response to, me covering what she thinks are false allegations is to essentially threaten me with false allegations. It's fucked up. And it's not, that's what I mean. She has no fucking morals. I think, and then somebody was pointing out, I think she might have been inebriated. I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't know anything about that. Like, yeah, I genuinely, I guess I'm not as, well, of course I have less experience with her than you do, but like, I'm not as, I just really feel like she's getting information from really bad sources, and that's like, yeah, and that's not good. And it's like, I wish she wouldn't.
Sadly, she's representative of a lot of people in America, in that like they don't know how to, they don't understand media literacy. They don't have any media literacy. They, so when you find out that the thing she was working from was essentially claims made by Michael Tracy.
I saw the Michael Tracy thing. I was like, oh no, that's sus. Man.
Yeah, he's a fucking straight up, right-wing disinformation agent. If you want to see how fucking dishonest and full of shit that guy is, you can, Vosh has debated him. Other people have talked to him. Where like his entire goal is to disseminate misinformation and yeah. And also, anyway, it's the thing. I was trying to stop you from going down that road with her, because once I realized what she was doing, I was like, this. First of all, sorry, I'm a little bit fucking worked up, so you'll forgive me.
I can tell.
First of all, why was that not the first thing that she mentioned?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I felt like she's like, I agree with you, but here I'm gonna go into deep dives into every minutia of the mission statement, and it's like, you're searching for reasons to disagree.
Yep,
that's not great.
Well, yeah, and then she straight up said that, like, Anyway, so let me get through this point. So she, why was that not the first thing she said? The whole maps thing, right? If that's something she's concerned about, that really should have been her primary thing. But she spent the first hour and a half or something on hypocrisy.
Yeah, which just
wow. I guess hypocrisy is more important to you than fucking what you believe to be, PDF files.
Yeah.
When and by the way, the thing is that she was leading you toward a conversation that, if you weren't aware of what she was doing, it's so fucking dishonest, man. And I don't think she was doing it on purpose. I think she's just too dumb to understand the topic at hand. Noah Bertlasky was talking about the fact, she says like, oh, he says that it's stigmatized. It is. It is stigmatized. That doesn't mean, that's not a value judgment. It's stigmatized. It's a bad thing. Both of those things are true. To harm children is fucking awful and one of the worst things you can fucking do. And people that do it are fucking disgusting to me and to, anybody with any fucking sanity. It is also stigmatized in the sense that the way people talk about it, the way people just like immediately want to, let's kill them in the street or whatever the fuck, it prevents those people from seeking help, which increases the chances of them harming children.
Yeah, no, I see. Yes, I've heard that argument before, and that is an argument. Yes, and yeah, no, it would be important for these people to actually seek help. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and as someone who, I've experienced it myself when I was a kid. How about that? And like, I fucking hate are beyond rationality, right? Like it is. If I saw one do doing something, if I saw somebody harming a kid like that, I would probably fucking beat him within an inch of his life, because that's But we need to have fucking an understanding of how to treat things so that they don't go underground. It's like the abortion thing, right? If you ban abortion, people are just gonna fucking go underground and do it. And like, if you don't treat these fucking mentally deranged fucking PDF files, if you don't fucking get them in check, if you tell them, if you just basically leave them no choice but to fucking, stay silent and not seek help, then they're gonna offend. They're gonna offend. They're gonna harm children.
Yeah.
And that's the, maybe she's fucking too goddamn stupid to understand the nuance involved there. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe she's just being bad faith.
I don't think she's being bad faith. I mean, she's probably watching right now. I think she's ignorant. I think she's super ignorant.
Yeah. And that's always been her problem.
I mean, I hope she learns. I do.
And, I tried, man. I tried reaching out to her. I tried to fucking, show her, and that's really what this is about. Honestly, I think is that she's kind of getting payback, probably. I mean, I couldn't help but notice that a good bit of that was focused on me and like things that I've said, and me bringing me up whenever, look, if somebody wants to fucking talk about me and has issues with something I've said, you should come to me. Okay. Mm-hmm. Bob does not answer for everything I've ever said just because we were fucking part of the initiative. Right. And another thing, we do talk about the things we like all the time. And that was what I was trying to scream at you to fucking say, because every time we talk about some bad take on Mario, or somebody dishonestly saying shit about whatever movie, right? We will also talk about what we think about it, the movie. We do that all the time. Like in the same conversation, kind of weaved in there. It's part of the same conversation. You know what I mean? Like it's not like we
absolutely.
We're not strictly isolating.
No, that's an excellent
only talking
point
about
because
shuds.
No, we will frequently use it as a launching point.
Let's look at I want to look at the initiative channel actually, because I want to see some examples here.
I mean,
and that's how I know she didn't really look at anything. She watched the mission statement, she combed through it, she fucking did an EFAP of it basically, and found a bunch of shit that she took out of context and whatnot. So, look at this. Yeah, 3 days ago, I uploaded this segment. This is an 18-minute segment. The conversation we had was about 45 minutes, though. Just talking about the MCU. God damn, my cursor doing that thing on the screen. Sorry. Just talking about the MCU, upcoming MCU stuff. That is all that is about. Literally all of it. Let's see. Here we are, defending fandom by defending creatives, by calling out people who are anti-creatives. Now, I know that her mind is way too fucking rigid and can't fucking comprehend the nuance involved here. But, that's why she just needs to shut the fuck up about it. Because she doesn't know what she's talking about. Here we are, defending fandom, because all of this is fandom. That's another false premise that she was working from, is saying that, like, it is, even if we just only talk about Nerdrotic for an hour, that is about the fandom. Because it's part of, does she know what the word fandom means? Is what I want to know. She seems to think it means just talking about the thing you like when it's about a community. Fandom is literally defined as a community of people built around a thing that they love, right? And so whenever you have people that are nonstop talking shit on it and putting out misinformation, and she may not know how to, check facts and stuff like that to understand that it's misinformation, but it is in a lot of cases, right? It is part of the fandom. It would be like having a party and like 100 people at your party, and there's a few guys just beating people up out in the backyard or something like that, right? Just beating them. It's like, well, okay, but that's not fun. That's not partying. It's like, no, it's happening at this party. We need to address it. Right?
That's an excellent point. That's a great way to phrase it too.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't use that as a defense of her bullshit, though, honestly, because it was a political comic book. So, but I mean, the idea that I don't know, man. There's just so many absurdly dumb things that she said in that stream that. Oh, why did I change the thumbnail? because I change thumbnails on videos sometimes to see if they fucking get more views when I do that.
Yeah,
I do not.
I mean, that's a strategy, and it was weird. It was like, why do you change the thumbnail? It's like, I don't know. You do that sometimes. That's a thing.
If her insinuation was that I like regretted having put actual groomers on there, absolutely not.
No.
I stand by that 150%, Nerdette.
No, I was actually about ready to say that. I don't know. She might have cut me off, but I was about ready to say I would stand by that statement. And
yeah, I mean, look, I'm fucking proud of our community, your community, people that were in chat, because a lot of people were, seeing through it. Of course, you had her handful of just simps. That's the only thing I can say. Like, they're people.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have a couple of things I want to show in a minute, so I'm trying to remember that. But I still wanted to look at more videos and see. Here we are having a debate about Little Mermaid. Why are we talking about Little Mermaid? I wish we weren't. Right? This was actually me and Perp months ago. But, I wouldn't talk about it if I didn't have to. But there are people that are using it to, make to sow division. Let's see. Yeah, this one's just about us responding to criticism here. And here's, an older video of mine that essentially is the same thing as the mission statement, just in a different, format. Look, this is just about politics. That's not even anything related to, but the thing is, all of these things are connected, Tristan. I don't know if that's how you view the world. I assume she's still watching. That you think that like this thing is not directly connected to this and they're separate and they just remain separate or whatever, but that's not how things are. And why is it okay for them to have these opinions? She was very in defense of their opinions being that opinions, and they can have those. But when our opinions are that is bigotry, that's not okay.
Yeah, no, that's...
Right?
I'm getting sick of that argument. Like, it's okay to have bigoted opinions, but it's not okay to call that out. I'm kind of getting sick of that argument, because where are your standards at that point? Like what? If someone just gonna be an outrageous bigot, you can't call that out? Like, that seems like the first thing you do.
Yeah, when you have no real, because like I said, she didn't become not Comicsgate because of her fucking morals or ethics getting in the way. She became not Comicsgate because they rejected her and they fucking doxed her and harassed her or whatever. And I attempted at that point to try to reach out to her because I found a video on her channel that was very good. It was just about her relationship to comics. It was like animated, I think, and it was about her dad, getting her into comics and stuff as a kid. And I was like, this is fucking great. I was like, if you came at this stuff from this perspective, where like you're thinking first about how much this meant to you as a kid, because that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know maybe that doesn't seem like that, but the reason that I'm against anti-fandom the way that I am, against people that are trying to put this in a way that like, because she just basically said bigoted so much as if it's like not a real word that I'm trying to get around it. People that are bigoted is because I have talked to them. We have talked to them. I've gotten countless emails, comments, and stuff like that from people who feel alienated from fandom and fan spaces because of the fact that there are these YouTubers and elsewhere that are pushing these ideas, and they get regurgitated throughout fan spaces. Like you said, they regurgitate this shit, and it becomes very common for people to just dismiss someone. Now, that you may not feel like it's dismissive of somebody's identity to say that, Miles Morales is not a valid Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. But when they're focused on Miles Morales all the time, and they haven't talked about Barry Allen, they haven't talked about, you know what I mean? Like a Supergirl, Superboy, all these other legacy characters that, well, what's the difference here? It's kind of fucking disingenuous to think that, that's just a regular opinion that doesn't have any effect on fandom.
True.
Or stupid. I don't know.
Oh, excuse me. Well, between two of our channels, we're at almost 100, so that's pretty good.
So here's Mandalorian. We talked about our...
Yeah.
Look.
No, that was one of the examples I brought, because that was the blatant one, because it's like, that's almost all just us talking about Mandalorian.
She didn't fucking look at our content, dude. She didn't. She simply did not. She took a glance and was looking for stuff like, where's Isom? Now, you want me to explain, Tristan, why talking about Eric July is important to fandom? because he puts objectively false information into the fandom. He also is a huge fucking bigot, as Bob explained. That's just what he's done to Bob. But I don't know if she's never seen his content or if she's just okay with the fact that he's constantly calling, LGBT people fucking weirdos and freaks and groomers and shit like that. Maybe she's okay with that. I don't know. But when you have someone with the size of platform that Eric July does on YouTube, who's injecting so much of that commentary into the fandom, it creates harmful fucking situations for people in the fandom. We are dealing with issues within fandom all the time. That is all we do. You may not fucking understand it. You may not fucking agree with it, but I don't care. We don't care. Or we shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's to say the best, it's outrageously ignorant, and that's just being very, very generous. Yeah, my screen's not very helpful right now. I haven't cropped yet.
She sure is.
But hey, if you want to see a repeat of your screen on my screen, here we go.
Yeah,
I'm
there it is.
I am stuck
Cool.
on.
Yeah, let's totally show that, please.
Yeah.
Gonna go ahead and just pull you out of there instead of showing what I'm doing.
Well, I am fixing it. I am.
Did you get that? Did you get that settled, Bob? Get that off?
Almost. Listen, man, OBS is not easy.
Because I'm going to be looking at. Yeah, I mean these people that believe in free speech don't. Anytime people are like defending free speech like that, and they're going after someone who's criticizing speech, you're against our free speech. Do you what are you trying to do, Bob? I don't know.
I'm almost
sorry.
there.
I just
You can't hear me, can you?
worried that any kind of private information might.
Well, it's only my desktop, Dane.
Doing that. No? Okay. I guess not.
Yeah, no,
I guess
I'm
not.
okay. So yeah, when I'm doing that, I'm not sharing your stuff. I'm sharing my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why is it free speech for everybody except there shouldn't be a Spider-Man that then you're against the free speech that Marvel is exercising and that Bendis and such exercised whenever they created the character. You're against the free speech of people who do think that Spider-Man is a fucking valid Spider-Man. Your arguments are fucking lame.
Mm-hmm.
You're just, it's all feelings based shit. That's why she got so fucking angry, dude. She was, screaming for half of that.
Yeah, that's kind of
I'm angry right now, but what am I just? I'm just talking tensely. It's about as much as you're gonna hear from me. Yeah, exactly. Freedom from speech is not freedom from criticism, and I can't help but question the motives of people who are willing to go to bat in defense of, they'll say things like, "Oh, I don't agree with them." Think about this seriously. She said how many times that she agrees with us on most points, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then she says that she disagrees with these grifters and whatnot. She disagrees with them a lot. Why are you fucking going after us the way that you are then? Is it really hypocrisy? Is that it? Because I don't see how bigotry and then criticizing bigotry, misinformation and then debunking misinformation, those are not equally bad things. Mm-hmm. They're not even the same thing. Does she know what hypocrisy means?
Yeah, exactly.
Was she really so angry? She sounded like she was crying.
I wasn't sure. I couldn't.
I got off there for a little while. That's what I think. I think that she fucking, just saw an opportunity to grift, and that's what I was trying to look for. Give me 1 second to crop the screenshot. So you guys saw Jasper Plan 9 in chat, right?
Oh yeah.
He's a big defender of hers.
I
He's
noticed.
a big time defender. He said something kind of interesting there toward the end.
I didn't
got
see
a
all the
screenshot
chats, so I
out
know.
of it. So I'm gonna pull that up here. Do what?
I didn't see all the chats, so I'd be interested.
What was that, Bob?
I didn't see all the
Okay.
chats, so I'd be interested. Can you hear me?
Got you. No, yeah, yes, I heard you that time. I'm just. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You just roboted for a minute whenever you first said that a minute ago, is all. That's the only a problem I've had. Here we go. So, Jasper Plan 9 gave the game away. I bet she's never going to give it up now. I mean, she was never going to give it up to Jasper before, but he was hoping, clearly. That's me being a bit misogynistic, and I acknowledge that. She's concern trolling, getting super chats, still entertaining. Anyway, Jasper, bad move, man. Bad move. And now I can't hear you, Bob. Now I can't hear you, Bob. Now I can't hear you, Bob.
It's a mute button. It's
there you
tricky. Go. It's a mute. No, it sucks.
You have to press it.
Well, right now, my freaking I need to adjust it. My pop filter is hanging over my my blinking light if it's muted, so I don't see it. So that could be fun. But yeah, no, that gives it all away. Jesus Christ.
He was just joking, though, probably, right?
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, and this guy's like, he was one of the ones that kept saying, well, talking about gatekeeping. God, these guys have a really weird idea of what gatekeeping is. And they're like, he said, well, actual Fandom Dane has me blocked and she doesn't.
I know,
yeah, I
that
have you
seems
blocked
to be a
probably
topic.
because you were making really fucking.
Yeah, no, I get really confused when people bring up that topic because it's like, yeah, I'll ban you. What do you want? Like me to play a little violin for you? I don't give a shit. If you're gonna be an asshole in my chat, you have no right to my chat. You don't. So if you're gonna be an asshole in the chat,
right,
you're gone.
And do you know? So the reasons why I ban people has changed. When I first started, it was because I was annoyed. Right, I would get annoyed with people, and I'm like, and I still get annoyed, but I wouldn't ban somebody just for being annoying now.
Yeah.
The reason that I typically ban people is because it becomes clear that they hold views and are going to repeat those views that are harmful toward a lot of people in my community. My channel has developed a fucking awesome community, not quite by accident, by the way, because I didn't mean to, but because of my content being what it was, I gathered a lot of people who are trans, queer, black, people of color, autistic, people who have felt fucking forced out of so many other places online when it comes to fandom shit. They feel like they're unwelcome, and they, in a lot of cases, they are. When you can't hang out in a fucking fan space without hearing, people talking shit on gay people, and you're gay, or you see fucking racist jokes and you're black, or whatever it is. Yeah, I imagine that fucking sucks. I can only imagine because I'm, fucking white ass dude. Mm-hmm. But so those people will find my channel, and I'm sure Bob's is the same, and Turf's as well. That's why we've formed a Discord together. And they feel like, hey, this is a place that welcomes me and actually defends my fucking rights to be in fan spaces. It talks about how these views that people think are just regular old opinions are actually gatekeeping by default. Even if they don't intend it to be, it's what it's doing is not being considerate of the fact that other people have, I don't know, intrinsic traits. Telling people that are of color or trans, they're not, and I'm not talking about a safe space. I'm talking about a space where people can just hang out and fucking talk about their express their love of fandom. And whenever she keeps on going on and on about how we don't talk about the things that we love. First of all, we do. Second of all, I wish that that's all I could do. I wish that was what I could is I could just talk about what I like, and that'd be it. I did it for a couple of months at the start of last year, and my fucking conscience got to me because I was still the thing that really pulled me out of it was the Riva stuff, by the way. I see that, and I'm just like compelled to talk about how, the Fandom Initiative is claiming that Star Wars called them racist, and it's like, no, they didn't. I mean, if they called you racist, then that you must be. I didn't feel like I was. We went over this. We've been over it a million times, but anyway.
Yeah, no, the whole
so that's
thing
why
was dumb.
we do what we do, because we have the privilege to. We have consciences, and we have an understanding of the politics at play here, and the social, the ways that political and social narratives are massaged into the discourse via these channels. And for her to also act like there's no reason to show January 6th or whatever, when the views expressed, like, there are views that some of these geeks and gamers, nerd rock, some of this stuff is like basically QAnon. And now if you aren't familiar with QAnon and what they believe, then you won't know that. But I am, because I read a lot. I'm very interested in a lot of this stuff, so. But that's what I mean. We shouldn't have to defend ourselves to people that they're not intellectually curious. They're not, they don't have, a moral barometer, other than just, you're harshing my vibes, bro, kind of shit. All right. I'm going to chill for a second now.
It's okay. I get it.
What was your experience? How did you feel about
it? Honestly, I felt it. Like, part of me was hoping for a friendly conversation, but like it went the way kind of I was concerned it would. Although,
okay, Bob, I don't know if it's because you're, hey, I don't know if it's because you are through OBS too, or you're what, but like, you're just roboting quite a bit.
Okay, well, actually, maybe we can fix it up here. Boom. All right, so can you hear me now?
Yeah, maybe that.
Okay, am I good?
So far.
Okay, all right. So, anyways, it went kind of, I don't want to say as bad as it could have gone. It went fairly bad, though. I think, honestly, like, as far as, like, how I think I did fairly well, because, I mean, it became fairly clear throughout the conversation. She's pulling it from very questionable sources. And, yeah, and she's, like, just essentially saying shit at a point, and it's, like, just, like, learn to research your stuff. I just don't know how else to like, if you see a random article on Facebook and you say, oh my god, that sounds outrageous, you probably want to research that shit, because it probably is bullshit. It's not a good source. And I think it's almost like a lesson in, like, vet your fucking sources just a bit. And if you're not vetting them, maybe it's because you don't want to vet them, and then that's a whole different issue. Or maybe, yeah. Honestly, overall, I think it went fairly well. But yeah, a lot of her, a lot of the stuff she expressed was a little bit concerning. A lot of the stuff like I said, a lot of her sources were a bit concerning. And yeah, it just shows she's not looking at this stuff as objectively. Well, I don't even know if that's necessarily the best term, but like, she's not I guess objectively. She's not looking as objectively as she should. She's not doing any independent fact checking. She's not, hey, this sounds a little suspicious. Maybe I should, like, double check this, and finding out it's bullshit,
Yep.
Not looking in the greater context. Yeah.
So, and Miguel, like, this is something that seems intuitively right, like that. Yeah, that's reasonable. Now, with the amount of people that show up to our streams, and like that are actively trying to fucking troll us and distract us and whatnot, if I stopped every single time somebody mentions something kind of, that's like, basically once they say that they're against gay people or gay marriage or whatever, that's what that means, is they're against gay people having rights, the same as anybody else. That inherently means that they are anti-gay. Even if they'll talk to and be friends with a gay person, they are still they don't see gay people as equal. And that's, to me, just bigotry and unacceptable. So, but if I still understand the idea of going, well, do you plan to express this bigotry down the line? Because if not, you're welcome here. But if I did that with everybody, I would take all my time. I would spend all my time questioning some random person in chat and trusting their word that they're not going to be a bigot later on.
Well,
and then, you know, I just...
That's the thing. Like, if you know about it, then obviously they're comfortable expressing it, and then they're going to express it, and it'll become an issue.
Yep. Yeah, and by the way, there was a few different times there, and this is the most disingenuous she seemed whenever she would, you know, I'm trying to think of an example of one of them. I should have written them down, but like saying that a Black Lives Matter rally,
Yeah.
comparing it to January 6th, and then whenever you're like, are you saying that those are the same? No, I'm not saying that. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, you literally just did.
Well, I mean, did you miss
That is
it?
what that is.
At the end, she was trying to compare Amazing Atheist to Alex Jones and Gavin McInnes. It's
Right.
like, and she's like, you know, it's, you're trying to say I'm comparing them. It's like, you literally are.
She was.
It's like,
If
do you
you're
not
bringing up
understand how
Amazing
words work?
Atheist-
Holy shit, you know.
Like, in what way, shape, or form is Amazing Atheist anything like Alex Jones? Or, you know, you may disagree with I disagree with a lot of shit Amazing Atheist has said.
Yeah.
He disagrees with a lot of shit that he has said.
Yeah, true.
That was the point of bringing him on. The point of bringing him on was to talk to someone who used to be a pretty fucking harmful, cringe, you know, right-winger, and who is not anymore. And you know, was willing to talk about that. And we're doing it again Tuesday, by the way. We're bringing on Vito, and he's actually still conservative technically. He's just not in favor of the fascist conservatives that have taken over the fucking party. And that's interesting to us. We want to find out, you know, we just want, I'm curious about it anyway. Like, how do you remain conservative but not go right with the rest of the conservatives, and what is it that prevents that, and so on and so forth. That's the stuff that I hope we'll talk about. But.
Well, it's so weird. It's such a weird argument. Like, she's literally, like, we're having this little back and forth, and she's like, why don't you talk to people who have dissenting opinions? And I'm almost like, I'm right here. I mean, I do, but it's like, I'm right here. What are you talking about? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, she's one of these conservatives that doesn't want to admit or doesn't admit to herself that that's what she is. Yeah, it's the premises she starts from are fucking objectionable in a lot of cases. And I wish that her, you know, being harmed by Comicsgate the way she was, which is fucked up and shouldn't have happened. But at the same time, it was an opportunity for her to grow, and instead of she just kind of like, now I hate Comicsgate, or Ethan specifically. And then she still had people like Imega Arts as a mod in her chat who goes around on Twitter looking for dirt on people and trying to fucking dox people and stuff like that. But, you know, whatever. What are consistent morals? I don't know.
It gets weird. I can't keep up.
And can I just say, I don't know if it's smoking. I don't know what it is. Her voice is fucking atrocious.
I am not in a position to judge anybody's voice.
Well, I mean, look, it's like people have different voices. I'm talking about like it is abrasive, like it hurts to me to listen to. Anyway, here's another comment that I got because of the thing where she's talking about grooming, and yeah, she clearly took issue with that, like a lot of chuds did. That's interesting. That only chuds
that was something I noticed. She seemed offended by a lot of things that these guys. Well, I like to say they pretend to take offense to because they're not actually offended by it.
Well, no, they might be offended by this the grooming thing. That's why I did it. By the way, I did it on purpose to trigger them because that's how I do a lot. It's how I've done a lot of content. And when she says that she liked me originally because I started out just expressing fandom stuff, and then that's not true. That's objectively not true. She's lying. I started out talking about Comicsgate. It's one of the first fucking things that I talked about. And, you know, then I started talking about the Fandom Menace because I didn't even know they existed until I started YouTube. And I was like, oh, there's this whole thing like Comicsgate, but with movies too.
Yeah.
And I started talking about them. And that is the direction my channel has been in since the third video, basically. For her to say that she liked me because I expressed my fandom and whatnot, and then I changed, I just false. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. I think I'm getting a little tired. But dude, it's good to talk to you. Are you gonna keep on streaming? If you're gonna keep on streaming, I'll just send my fans over.
Yeah, I'm gonna stream maybe a little bit more about this. I actually did want to. Well, yeah, I'm gonna stream a little more about this probably, and then I'm gonna turn it into the Forced Adversity podcast that it was meant to be. So I'm gonna bring Morgan on in a bit, and we're gonna talk about Transformers.
Ooh, that sounds cool. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. Go over to Dane's stream, check him out.
Oh. Yes, please come over here. I'm sorry, I didn't get to my point. I'm so fucking distracted. Her saying that they're not going after young people or whatever. Do you know how many messages? This is just in chat whenever that was said. Do you know how many times I've heard this type of thing since doing this content? People that were pulled into this shit because they were too young to understand the context of what the Fandom Menace is about. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This happens a lot. So there we go.
Well, I mean, the idea that like somehow that what park tripping site is obviously not going for kids. It's like, okay. I mean, I don't. I mean, if you're just gonna ignore like something staring you in the face, I don't know what to say. I don't know what. But yeah, it was good talking to you. Have a good one, man. Have a good rest of your stream.
Yeah, man.
Everybody in my audience, go check out Dane's stream. He's going to continue on. He's probably going to talk a bit more about what happened, and then he's going to go into his Force Adversity podcast, which should be great. The link doesn't work. Well, guys, let's see. Let me try again. That should just be the link, though. Guys, if the link's not working, just go to actual fandom. Go to his live stream right now. Why Nerdette can't comprehend the initiative. That link looks different. I don't know why. So maybe I clicked on the wrong thing before. But yes, go check out Dane. And Dane, thanks for chatting.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to get some sleep. I also have to finish watching Fast and Furious for the podcast tomorrow. So good fun.
Oh, yay. All right. Yay. Have a good one.
You too. All right. And with that, I am officially signing out. Yeah, go check out Dane's stream, and I am going to hopefully get some sleep. But yeah, it was kind of a fun debate. Obviously, I feel like Dane has some thoughts on it. And yeah, he and Nerdette do have a history, so there's going to be some of that involved. That being said, I don't really disagree with a lot of what he said. He definitely, like, he has more knowledge of her than I do. And yeah, I do think it's interesting how, like, she seems to take offense at all the stuff that, like, the people who really hate me take offense at. And that's really questionable. But yeah, I think overall the debate went well. I think it really, like, to me, it just seemed pretty clear. She's just pulling from questionable sources and running with it. But yeah, that's it at the end of the day. Guys, thanks for joining me. Have a good one.